Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah, I'll tie your ass up.
Alrighty, everybody. So, welcome back to the BS Crew podcast. This is episode number 5. Today, we're going to be talking about Evangelion by request of my lovely co-host Tyler. Tyler, say hello to the people.
Hello.
And we are also joined by intern, but he got the upgrade to an actual guest now, Josh.
That's right. What up, my Evangellers?
Dude, unchained and unpaid. Welcome to the table.
Yeah, so today, for the record, I know Evangelion has like a ton of movies that they're all in canon, but they're all different timelines. So today we are going over the original series from 96 and 97, and then we're also going to be going over End of Evangelion, which was the original movie, which served as kind of the...
I believe it was the second
95.
movie.
Oh, it was 95, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then End was 97.
Oh, okay. So
well, there was a movie before it that came out in 96.
Well, no, that was just like a recap, though, and it had like not even 5 minutes of extra footage, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was like a rebirth and death.
Yes.
It was like director's cut episodes.
All three of which are on Netflix. I'm waiting for that check.
Well, I guess before we really jump into it, Tyler, do you want to talk about kind of like what inspired you to bring this up as a topic and kind of like to watch it?
I mean, I think it's just it's like a classic show, and I didn't realize how many like tropes and stuff that are in anime today came from that show. So I don't know. It has a lot of literary significance.
Alrighty. So before we do our Evangelion deep dive, we have the weekly catch up. So generally, this is the section where we go over nerdy news and just some stuff that's going on. Do you guys mind if I take point?
I think you should, honestly.
Yeah, right ahead, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah, I got engaged. So that's pretty sweet.
Dude,
So
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Way to go, buddy.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So my lovely girlfriend of over 3 years now fiance Amanda, I proposed to her last weekend. So yeah, this week has been a lot of like let's catch up, and like let's go to dinner. So like yeah, there's been a lot of that, but I'm excited to get down to it. So.
Yeah. So if this video gets 3 impacts, I want to see in the comments below. Congratulations, Jared.
Can I get everybody clapping while I sit on like a stool in the middle of a room too?
Congratulations, Jared, and then 3 clap emojis.
And for our patrons, be sure to see the live stream of the wedding about a year from now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually, Tyler, do you want to be the commentator for that? It's like, he's going in for the deep dive kiss. That's an interesting tactic.
I don't know. I feel like we should have Dave do it.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
I could see some mega Daveisms coming out of this that just.
Yeah, friend of the podcast, Dave.
Exactly, friend of the podcast, Dave.
All right, so let's see, Tyler. How about you, buddy? What's your weekly?
Well, I mean, obviously, I have something that's like way more impactful than that news. I want everyone listening to know that Taco Bell took the nacho fries out of retirement.
That is national news, though.
Exactly.
That is.
Yeah.
I think that the fries are way better than the Mexican pizza, and you can't at me.
So we were just talking about this. I don't have many strong opinions on Taco Bell's menu offerings because they just ruin my stomach for about a week.
I'm a Bell simp. I've tried everything on the menu. I always go to the specials.
Jared, there was a point in time where we would get it for breakfast like
every time.
Did you get the actual breakfast, or did you get like just like normal Taco Bell food for breakfast?
No, we got the breakfast items.
Yeah.
Like
what do you think of the
potato griller?
Yeah.
Bussin', dude.
Sheesh.
The one that kills me is the breakfast Crunchwrap Supreme.
I've only heard the ads for it.
Oh my god, it's so good. And not just because that guy from New York said it was good.
All right, well, I guess Josh, because this is your first time on the podcast, you want to talk about who
first
you
time
are?
Free.
Yeah, first time
That's true.
unchained.
That's true.
Yeah, unchained and uncensored. Sure.
Can you add some air horns?
Yeah, I could do that.
All right. So saw Black Adam.
Oh, how was it?
I would say
that?
So it's a DC movie
Okay.
starring The Rock.
Oh, I've seen the ads for this. Obviously I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, so I would say it's probably like a Rock out of 10.
What did you think of the Jungle Cruise? Because that was like his last big movie, right?
I didn't see that one, but I'm sure he plays the same guy.
100%.
Okay, so is Black Adam the same guy? Like, is it just Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Is he ever not Dwayne the Rock
Well,
Johnson?
I wasn't sure.
Does he? Do you ever like see a movie of his and just be like, man, I'm getting lost in this character. I don't even see Dwayne anymore.
So, well, here's the thing. I wasn't sure if it was going to be like how Adam Sandler was in Uncut Gems.
I think they were like the same person because I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
like I cannot
That one
believe
was
this.
a good one though.
yeah, it was great. Well, that's why I wasn't sure because like Black Adam, like it was a pre-existing character. Like, did he, or was it just kind of like, oh, I'm cool. I'm a former wrestler turned family household name.
He was the only one from Conduct to not have an accent.
I'm waiting though for Mr. The Rock's Uncut Gems, right? Like he's just gonna come out.
It's true.
He's gonna show that he can act and then never talk about it ever again. Just completely under
Well,
the
he has to be
rug.
down on his luck. And that's not happening with The Rock.
I don't think
that's
Adam
true.
Sandler has ever been down on his luck.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of his movies weren't doing good.
Yeah,
Right?
he's been pushing out stinkers.
Yeah, but if you ever listen to him, that's his goal, right? He just wants to make
That's
movies with
true.
his friends and call it a day.
That's-
If he gets
true.
a bag in the meantime, it's like, yeah.
That's true. But he is making another movie with the same directors, the Safdie brothers.
yeah.
So
Who?
they're the ones that did Uncut Gems.
But who's doing it? Adam Sandler's doing another
Yeah.
movie? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
They're also the ones that brought Robert Pattinson out of the Twilight hole.
Oh,
with
yeah,
Good
yeah.
Time.
Right, yeah, no,
Oh.
Good Time is phenomenal.
Also a good movie.
yeah,
I
that's great.
highly recommend it.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess we got some nerdy news to go over too.
Aye.
Tyler, I'm sorry. I feel free to jump in on this, but
No, no.
I know that me and Josh both talked about this before. The Chainsaw anime is fire.
Where can I see that?
It's on Verve, Crunchyroll, like the usual anime.
So I have to
places.
pick one.
What was
There's
it,
also
Kiss
less
Anime?
noble options.
Yeah, there's
true.
less noble options like
Oh.
Kiss Anime and Anime. What is it?
Anime
1, 2, 3?
Go-Go.
Oh, Anime Go Go. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Kiss Anime is a reason why my computer makes bitcoins that I don't get.
Yeah, I've been there, pal. Been there. It's like, actually, that was a funny thing that happened during the initial COVID quarantines. I was pirating stuff, and then I was like, "Why the fuck is my CPU
Whoa.
used?" Sorry,
Pirating.
I was legally downloading stuff, and then I looked at my task manager, and I was like, "Why is my CPU usage at like 85%?" I was like, "What's happening?" I was like, and I
You
was like,
you
in
borrow
YouTube.
something from the internet. They were just borrowing a little bit of your
Yeah,
power.
it's like the monkey's paw, you know. Yeah. So, Josh, have you watched Chainsaw Man yet? I know that we talked about it a few weeks ago.
So we, at our good buddy Sean's house, we watched episode 1 on his like shit ass CRTV. You could you can see the back of it. You know, TVs these days,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yep.
flat. This one you can see.
Nice.
There's girth.
See, that's how I wanted to watch Evangelion. Was on a CRT.
It's true.
Like a big old boob tube, you know?
Yeah, like seeing it in HD, it didn't feel right.
Right.
It was already letterboxed. But we saw first episode in 480p.
Ultra
There was
HD.
it was on YouTube.
Okay.
So there was no
Oh.
intro music,
Jesus.
no outro music.
That's the way the anime is meant to be watched.
It's
though.
true.
I
It
feel-
wasn't segmented into 16 parts though.
okay. That's better
Or
than
part
what
of
I.
it was upside down and like discolored.
Yeah. It was like slightly pitch shifted.
So did you like it though?
I'm gonna be honest. This is a bit of a hot take.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
All right, we're dropping hot takes.
We're going to
What's
get canceled.
I thought it was okay.
up? Okay, so have
It
you
wasn't
read the
a-
manga or have you?
No, I have not.
Okay, all right. So
I'm sure there's a lot of Twitter
that's
discourse
valid.
about it
That's
too.
valid. That's okay.
I thought it was just okay.
Is that
It-
like being fine?
Yeah, it was just fine. Their big action scene, you could tell it was 3D. A little rough.
Yeah,
It was a little rough.
yeah. So
I've heard I've seen the previews for the other episodes and they look better. I just haven't gotten around to watch it yet.
yeah, Chainsaw Man is one of those things where it actually subverts a lot of expectations, but it still does like a lot of those like very tropey things in the first like half of the original series. So like the first 40 episodes are basically Denji killing demons, and there is cool action sequences that like come like later, even in like the latest episode. But it's also him just being like, oh, I want to touch some titties, and then like he just kills
As
some
all
demons.
men do.
Yeah. Well, and then the back half of it is just depression. Like it's just depression. So
it sounds like a-
it gets good is what I'm saying.
Sounds a lot like Evangelion. To
It
be
is.
honest.
I
It's a lot of-
didn't want to draw the
It
parallels
does.
yet,
Yeah.
but yeah, we can talk about that more later. Let's see some other stuff that happened in the past couple days.
Dude, Elon, he officially bought Twitter. It went through.
Yeah,
The CFO was escorted out of the building.
The gamer word instantly spiked up like 400%.
Yeah. So I was gonna say I saw the news article today because I was like, people have to be overreacting about this, right? No, I believe it was the Washington Post put out an article that said that the N-word usage has skyrocketed 500% since Elon bought Twitter.
Wow.
500%. Yeah, it's insane.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that's we're just gonna get depressed if we keep talking about that.
Are you sure that wasn't just related to the fact that MW2 came out?
It's true.
'Cause I feel like I have not once gotten into a lobby without there being some incredible slurage.
Is it so? It's back. MW2 is back, is what you're telling me.
MW2 is back, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Avatar's coming out. MW2's out.
Global recession,
Global
we got
recession.
the whole,
The gamer
We're in middle
word's
school again,
brewing.
man. It's great.
everything's there, I'm just waiting for the Yogos to come out again.
Oh, I forgot about those. I didn't really ever.
You don't remember Yogos?
I wasn't too crazy about them, to be honest with you, man.
It was fruit snacks, but they were healthy because they had yogurt coating.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got. Henry Cavill has officially left the Witcher series.
Did you
Did you hear about that?
Like
Yes,
the Netflix
today.
series or
Yeah.
the game?
The Netflix series. So
Isn't-
he's been playing Geralt.
Isn't he the Witcher?
Yes.
He's Geralt.
He is
Yes.
the main character.
So,
Oh.
so he's doing season 3 with them, and then season 4 is going to be Liam Hemsworth, I believe, is going to
Oh.
be taking over
Which
as
is
Geralt.
Oh wait, he was the one that
Quite
like
a difference.
Yeah,
everyone put Henry on the like a pedestal because like he'd actually played the games, right? That was
He
he's
played
like
the
yeah.
games.
I
He
have
read
a
the
computer.
books. Yes.
well,
Yeah,
no,
I
he
play-
also
I
plays
play
Warhammer.
Warhammer.
He
Yeah,
also
yeah,
plays Warhammer. He is
Okay,
a tried
okay.
and true
Yes, he is a
virgin.
Yeah.
Okay,
He is one of us.
yeah, he's one
Okay.
of us. Yeah. So, so some people think that it's because they're straying away from the books on the show. With books,
Yes, because Tyler, just like with like Halo Infinite, they hired writers that hated the source material. So it was like nothing but a slap in the face to like readers and watchers.
I didn't even know it was a book. Was it a book before the game or
It
oh
was.
yeah, and it's been a
Oh.
book for what, like 30 years now, right?
Yeah, it was a book before the games.
So it's like Metro. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that there were so many of these like Eastern European titles that are just like a book adaptation.
Yeah, basically.
So he sold it to CD Projekt Red because at the time it was like a relatively niche book series. That blew up. He got pissed about it. He wanted a little bit of their little money because it raised like Poland's revenue up.
Yeah. It was, up until like recently, it was like one of the highest traded stocks in Poland.
It was.
yeah.
Wait,
Kinda-
CD Projekt Red was?
Yeah.
It was the
They,
most
like-
valuable stock in the country.
They
Holy
like
shit, I
raised
didn't know
their
that.
country's value.
up until like December of
Yeah,
2020.
a little-
when a little
Yeah,
game
yeah.
came
No,
out.
that's next episode.
It's
That's how
foreshadowing. That's a foreshadowing.
But yeah, so some people think that it's because Cavill is officially coming back as Superman, kind of in like a big way. So some people think it's because he's going to be putting his efforts towards like, more Superman and like other DC
I
projects.
think it's a bit of both.
yeah.
I think it's the Superman deal, and also I don't know how reputable these sources are.
They're not.
They're like trust me, bro sources. But a lot of the times where he would fight tooth and nail to like change the script to match more with the books.
Oh.
And because the writers, they don't really care about the books. He just kind of cut ties. I'm out.
Because
I'm
he
out.
was also a grassless virgin.
Yes.
They didn't want him to continue.
Yes.
I love how we got to the point where we're calling Henry Cavill aggressive. like literally just
man
like
that could, like,
chiseled
kill us in
man.
one
Yeah,
punch.
Sorry,
yeah,
dude.
like-
Call of Duty has just done it to me, I'm just spent.
So instead, they got like discount Hollywood pretty boy.
Yeah. I mean, I think Liam Hemsworth is fine. Like
I haven't really.
I like
what
to give-
movies is he in? That's
Josh, I don't know.
exactly.
I've seen him in stuff though. Like I know that much. I don't. Yeah.
He was Miley Cyrus's boyfriend.
That is how I know him. Yeah, and he cheated on her, didn't he?
What?
That's tough.
I think he did.
Who cheated?
He cheated on her. Let me see. Liam Hemsworth.
Did he cheat on her with Hannah Montana?
Yeah, because I'm seeing spouse was Miley Cyrus 2018 and 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So he was in all the Hunger Games. He was in Independence Day, the one from 2016. Yikes.
I remember the Hunger Games.
How do I know? Is it just because I know the more famous Hemsworths? I know this sounds bad, but like I don't recognize really anything else besides the Hunger Games that he was in.
his brother's Thor, so
Yeah, I think that's it.
a little bit of a shadow over him.
Okay, well, while we do keep talking about people who are wildly more successful than us,
I feel like some congratulations are in order,
Yeah.
Jared.
yeah, thank you.
Back-to-back bangers with the So You Wanna
read Spider-Man and
Popping off.
Yeah,
Blowing up.
I can't believe how much that's actually blown up. Like not like I feel like I really needed to be humbled per se, but it's very humbling to actually have people like comment and be like,
Yeah,
I
there's
think I'm gonna read
interaction
Spider-Man
on it.
now, and I'm like, fuck yeah, like that's awesome,
The algorithm's treating you well.
We have like
Yeah.
250 subscribers.
Yeah,
I know we already missed our 100 sub special.
yeah. I'll see you guys at 1,000. We're shooting
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the moon. Yeah, no. So it feels really cool to actually have people say like, oh, man, like I think I'll actually try reading Spider-Man now, and I'm like, that's the whole point of it, like that's actually like a really cool feeling.
There's like a lot of thank you for making this video.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm a big fan of your recommendations.
I feel blessed.
Based.
Based.
Yeah, I feel based. All right, so yeah, we got that, and then the Moon Knight video, it's doing pretty good too. Obviously, Moon Knight is like has like a fraction of the popularity of Spider-Man, but like same thing,
It's getting there.
for people who watched it, so far some pretty good things. So I like it. So, and I'm having a ton of fun. I actually just voiced the Daredevil video.
I know a lot of people are asking for that.
Yeah, I was like, I got to
Yeah.
get on that, while the
While the
engagement's
iron's hot.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just finished the voiceover for that, so I'm hoping that'll come out within like the next couple weeks. So it'll be cool. So, all right. So Tyler, how about
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a beer burp. I apologize. How about we actually get into Evangelion now? You again, you're kind of the one who wanted to like talk about
So,
this. You want to?
I feel like we should probably talk about like what our experience is like with watching those kind of shows in the first place. Because like if you watch in a vacuum, just like whatever, it was like some robots or shit. But like if I tell you like I'm like comparing it to like Cowboy Bebop or like Ghost in the Shell, you're like okay, like he kind of knows what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think speaking for most of us, I think all of us, we watched anime like middle school, high school,
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
just like whatever was popular at the time. And then I don't know about you guys. I kind of didn't watch anything for like a long time. And then I watched
Back and forth.
Cyberpunk when that came out. And then after that, I was like, I guess Netflix has
Kinda
some other
brought
shows
you
that they
back a little
own.
bit.
Let me see.
I will say a lot of the Netflix animes are actually like really solid. Like Castlevania, Violet Evergarden.
Well, they have a lot of ones that
Edgerunners.
they're like theirs, right? That are
Yeah.
like Netflix. Yeah, I haven't watched any of those.
They're really solid. We'll talk afterward about it. They're good.
Did you guys watch Evangelion at least for this rewatch on Netflix?
Yeah.
I did.
I
Yes.
did.
Subbed or dubbed?
I actually watched the dub.
I was thinking of watching the dub because I've heard it's different from the original one.
Yeah,
But I ended up just doing sub.
I did sub for the first like 13 and then dubbed for the last 13.
I would switch every now and then to see if the delivery was different, and it was for a couple things. But dubs these days get a bad rep,
Yes.
Yeah.
even
agreed.
still.
Yeah.
But there's some good ones. The Edgerunners dub was really good in my
See, I
opinion.
watched that sub, so I don't know.
I watched it dubbed.
Yeah, well, because Giancarlo Esposito was I think he was Faraday, right?
He was Faraday.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, which I think,
Oh.
like, I didn't realize who the cast was for it because, again, like for Edgerunners, I didn't really see any promotion for it. I just kind of saw it on Netflix's front page, and I was like,
Yeah.
this looks cool. I'll watch
Yeah.
it.
You know what? On that topic, I watched Being Puppycat on Netflix after I watched Cyberpunk, and the dub voice acting cast for that show is like insanity. Like it's just all sorts of people like you never would have expected to be like voice actors and actresses.
Was
At
it
least-
good though?
It was good. I really liked it, but it's like oh my god, what's his name? The guy who plays Spike Spiegel and
Oh, Steve Bloom?
Dempsey. Yes.
Yeah.
So Steve Bloom voiced like a single character, and I was like, I heard him like, I think that's Bloom, and then I'm like desperately trying to search online, and like it was such a small role, it wasn't even on IMDb. Like I had to find it in Reddit.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I just on a little tangent. So yeah, like the kind of crap I watched when I was younger definitely was more like along that like SG kind of, like
Yeah, you guys like the edgy.
I wasn't really watching it because of the story.
The plot.
The plot. Well, yeah, I was only watching it for the plot.
Yeah, it was when you're a younger lad. It's all about the battle shonens and the ecchi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went hard into battle shonens when I first got into it. Like Bleach was my first
Yeah, I
anime
never
ever.
got into that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, they don't really hold up, but as like a 13-year-old, I'm like, this is.
I was
badass.
never a Bleach boy.
More than 30 episodes, never gonna watch it, never gonna read it.
It's tough. It's tough. It's you have to be dedicated to
You'll
it.
be dedicated and be like, oh, it's season 36, episode 12.
Naruto
Oh yeah.
was on Toonami,
Mm-hmm.
so that was when I would watch it. But One Piece has got over 1,000 episodes
Yeah,
now.
exactly. It's never going to happen.
It's a part-time job.
Especially if you got to catch up.
I feel like I'm more
Exactly.
likely to read stuff though. Like when it comes to a lot of like these anime, I'm like, I'll just read the manga because I can get through it so much faster than as opposed to like watching an episode.
Plus, it's interesting seeing the author's actual art style
Yes.
compared to what's being churned out on like the anime factory.
Yeah, it's like cracking the whip for like the
They are.
30,000.
I mean, One
animators,
Piece
yeah.
is still a weekly anime.
Oh, so did they never take a break? Did like
They don't take breaks.
so they don't do like traditional seasons where it's like
No. But
Oh, I
if
didn't
you've
know that.
seen, they've changed directors for their last arc, the Wano arc, which is like their version of Japan. And the art and the animation's really good. Because the last one, Dressrosa, was rough.
oh, so different director.
A
I'm
slog.
assuming. Has it been the same studio like throughout?
I believe, yeah, it's always been Toei.
Okay. Oh, it's been Toei. Okay, I didn't know that.
Are you guys familiar with that really famous American anime, Ratatouille?
Yeah,
Very
It's my
familiar.
favorite mecha. Yeah.
So there's a scene in that movie where the guy who does all the critiquing,
yes. Yes.
he goes along the lines of, they're like, oh man, you're too skinny to be a food critic, and he's like, oh dude, if I don't love it, I don't swallow. That's how I feel about media, right? If it doesn't catch me in the first episode, first half hour, first like 2 or 3 hours in a game, deleted, uninstalled. not
Otherwise, you're just
watching.
wasting your life.
I'm wasting time, right? So like when we were in high school, I took AP English, and it's very like hotty toddy, right? So like when you go to take the exam, you're supposed to read books of literary significance before the exam, so that if you have to make a comparison or a contrast in your essays, that you're comparing to something of value, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I guess I kind of adopted that for like movies and like TV shows. Like unless it like is worth watching, I'm not going to, because you only have so much time on this planet.
If it's not adding a wrinkle to your brain.
Exactly.
I actually completely agree. And the funny thing is, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, man. It sounds pretentious as fuck,
I don't care.
but you're not wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
I have a harder time now shutting my brain off to enjoy things. I think the last time I was able to do that was when we all saw Godzilla vs Kong.
It's very easy for me, Jared.
Is it?
I love schlock.
Schlock.
And like, if I can. I'm more likely
I'm
to watch
very familiar with schlock.
if I know that I can make
I
fun
have a
of it.
high tolerance for it.
Yeah, I don't. So like there's one of my favorite examples from recent memory is there was a horror movie that was released, I think it was on Peacock. And so Kevin Bacon stars in it, and it's about an LGBT conversion camp.
I've heard about it.
And the title is called They/Them.
Yes, I've heard about
The
that one.
title alone, like you go into it knowing that, right? And I didn't even finish watching it, to be honest with you, but it got me in there for the first 25 minutes. So that probably looks good for their analytics. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
You're already part of the problem, even though you didn't finish the movie.
Well, yeah. So let me elaborate on that. So like, there's a lot of this stuff that if I'm going back, like I enjoy watching things that I can like go back and like chew on. so to
Exactly.
speak,
Yeah,
right?
that's kind of what that's like my goal. You know?
Right. So currently, and I know she can hear this because we do not have doors in this household.
You mean the bunker?
The bunker.
The podcast
In the
bunker
podca-
deep
the
underground
podcast
where they
bunker.
can't find us?
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
I was surprised when I got released from the bunker. I went through like the break room. It was like marble floors. There was
Yeah,
like a
it's
foosball
luxurious, right?
table.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. So currently, me and Amanda, for the past few months, we've been watching Pretty Little Liars, which was an ABC like teen horror quote unquote show.
Like from when we were kids, right? Like
Yeah,
early
we were in, like, middle
2000s?
school, I think.
Okay.
It's dog shit. Straight up, it's dog shit. All right, but it's gotten to the point where like I was just bored. I'm like I can like there's stuff like there's cool action stuff. So like okay, you take Gurren Lagann,
Yes.
Gurren Lagann, right? And it has such cool action, and like I don't feel necessarily inspired by it, but it gets me hype. It's cool because like I'm at least seeing cool action sequences. I'm seeing these inspirational speeches.
Yeah.
You know
It's turning the little dial on the monkey.
exactly.
Clap its little
But,
symbols.
but like when I watch a show like Better Call Saul just ended, right? I for days afterward I was like that like I'm breaking down like Saul's motivations and I'm like, oh my god, like he finally like
It was
made himself-
fermenting.
Yeah, exactly. It was, and I was like, he determines. It's like Kim Wexler brings out the good in him, and that's why he only chose to call himself Jimmy McGilligan at the end. Sorry, spoiler alert. But he called himself Jimmy McGill at the end because, like, you know, his like the only person that supported him, like without any strings attached, was like sitting in that courtroom with him, and I was like, that's incredible. I was like, just like the storytelling, right? And there was like a light that, like a switch that like flipped in my brain, probably when I was like 20 or so. Because I was taking some classes at college, and it was all about like TV and like video production and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, I get it. Like I was like, I pay attention to dialogue now. I understand how shots are composed, you know?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Like my monkey brain started like clapping again. Like the two symbols kept clapping.
I think for me, it was like sometime in college, I watched Blade Runner for the first time. And like I sat down wanting to watch the movie just because like I liked the idea of like, you know, this like future noir, this like cyberpunk like aesthetic. And then like you leave that movie and you're like, oh my God, like this had nothing to do with robots and think that this is just about like, you know, humans' existence and how life is suffering. And it's like after that, I was like, I really enjoy watching movies where it's like, if you wanted to, you could go to the theater like completely high off your mind and just like, you know, the big robots smash each other like so good. Or you get like sit there and like, oh my God, like, you know, the way that they're commenting about, you know, the birthing process is just crazy, you know, like just these monumental like big brain ideas.
Yeah, and I know that like I put this like in our notes and stuff, but like for example, just to kind of like bring this back to Evangelion, the first time I watched Evangelion before I had like that, you know, so-called switch flip,
your epiphany.
Right? It kind of was honestly like it was weird. Like it was again like overnight seemingly like I was able to actually like look at media, like I somehow gained media literacy, right?
You woke up in a cold sweat.
Yeah.
You looked in the mirror and you're like, who is
and I was
this?
like, I see symbolism now. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
But, yeah,
oh my God.
Like, the first time I watched Evangelion, I think I was like 16 or 17. I hated it. I thought it kind of sucked.
Dude, big robot move fast.
Exactly. And honestly, and
Where's
I think
the
it's
robot?
because I watched Code Geass. I watched Gurren Lagann. I watched like a lot of these like kind of hype, like high action focused mecha shows, and I expected that from Evangelion, and that's just not what it is. Quite frankly, like there's cool action sequences, but they completely forego most of the plot and action just to focus on character development.
Yeah, there'll be episodes where they don't even get in the Evas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or like if they do, you'll see them in the Evas for like 30 seconds, and they'll be like, "We'll touch on what happened later."
Like running diagnostics,
just
some tests.
So, Josh, what is your like connection to this? Why did you're like, oh man, like I like that show. I want to talk about it.
It's kind of like it's like those legacy animes, you know.
Exactly. Yes,
you know, you got your Cowboy Bebop, you got your Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
You got Akira.
We're old enough now that I would even say like Lucky Star belongs in that. And
I've actually never seen Lucky Star.
It is like so the
don't let the art style fool you.
Anno, right? Okay. He's the director for Evangelion. Mm-hmm. Anno says that Evangelion, especially the end of Evangelion, is like a commenting on like otaku subculture. Mm-hmm. Lucky Star is that, but for the new age. Like it looks like this really cute like slice of life show, but like it's really just like about a bunch of nerds.
It's Nicole's favorite.
I love that show. Okay. Yeah, it's a good show.
She has the whole thing on Blu-ray. You know, if you ever want to.
Really? Yeah. Okay. All right.
If you ever want to borrow it,
I could check.
Maybe that'll be our. We should like go watch that again, and we'll come talk about that.
Yeah,
because that show is what brought like modern day anime to the West.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Like Lucky Star was one of the first shows that was like subbed like almost in real time and put online, and like Western audiences watched it.
Okay.
So it's like Crunchyroll and like Verve and all those things that exist today because of Lucky Star.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a weird time. 1995 when Evangelion came out. There was like pennies for budget for like dubbing it.
Yeah. Well, and I know like especially like in the like early 2000s especially, there would just be people in America who would like hire like translators to like help them with their dubs. Be like, what are they saying? Like translate, you know?
Yeah, you ever like on YouTube you watch like borrowed clips from anime.
Of course.
They'll
like yell out their special move and like the text is animated. It has like a different font.
Yes.
Those were the days.
Those were good. Yeah. And again, I used to watch so Bleach was like my first ever anime. I know that we've talked about this extensively over the years. And it's like when I was watching Bleach, the first like honestly, I've watched the first maybe like 70 episodes probably like 3 or 4 times. And every single time I would watch it, it would be on YouTube, and every episode would be in 3 or 4 parts.
Yep.
It would be like episode 26, part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yep.
Dude, and it's mirrored backwards, and it's all like shifted to green.
Oh yeah,
and
we're talking 240p because I mean this was in maybe like 2010.
Yeah.
It was it was not great.
you found that, and you're like, holy shit, it's in HD. Let's go.
Well, and the funny thing too is that like I feel like, and I'm not sure if this is because my attention span is like not as good as it used to be, or like maybe I've just matured as a person, right? But like me watching like these like battle shonen, right? So stuff like Demon Slayer, right? Which I think is just the
You have
most
some choice words.
Yeah, it's just like it's genuinely just mid. Like it does nothing new. Like it's just like it's like it's the peanut butter and jelly of the anime community. I truly feel that way. Like it just doesn't do anything new. The animation's pretty, but that's kind of all it has going for it.
You're asking for it. If you go to a convention and say that,
I mean, get just fucking just laid into by
75% of the people there will be Demon Slayer.
And that's
cosplayers.
cool. Like I'm happy that people enjoy it, but like for me,
it's like
I'm
Sword Art
bored.
Online.
It's just like Sword Art. Actually, Sword Art Online is worse.
Dude, talk about
But that's
painfully mid.
No, that
Remember
shit
when-
just sucks.
Do you
That's not
remember
even,
when
like-
there was an argument, Attack on Titan versus Sword Art Online?
Yeah, I used to have that with Riley, and he was like, "Dude, Attack on Titan is just suffering," and I'm like, "Yeah, that was. I'm not having that debate again."
I think Sword Art Online would have been great if it wasn't like a manga that was meant to go on for forever. So like if they had just like made it, like wrapped it up all nicely in 26 episodes and called it a day, I think it would have been like a classic. But
It could've
instead
been
they're
good,
like, we gotta milk this shit for every fucking yen it's worth.
It's working for them though.
That's true.
Asuna's still topping the charts for waifu.
Well, and the sniper chick too. Like I see, like if you
They're still topping the charts
the way
for waifu
you can
of the
know,
year.
forget the charts, right? Forget going to anime list or like going on Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
If you log into the wallpaper engine workshop,
Flooded.
whoever's at the top, that's the true waifu at the time, right?
It's
And you
typically
still
awesome,
see them
right?
all
Yeah.
the time.
That's true. Actually, I set my wallpaper engine to exclude anime. I love how that's a choice that they have.
Yeah.
So like, so when you first, because
It's
I got
there's
this-
there's like a
rid of, like-
note for it too.
There is, yeah. So I was gonna say, so when I built this PC that we're recording on last year, and I downloaded Wallpaper Engine again, in the initial setup, it says there's a lot. They put it much more politely than this, but they said, "Hey, there's a lot of fucking anime on here. Do you want to hide all of it?" And I clicked yes.
Did that get rid of like 80% of the
More than
wallpaper?
yeah, it was an immense amount. Like I'm just getting like stereotypical, just like
Even with
Like
it
falling
removed,
leaves.
yes,
even
yeah.
with it removed, 80% of the results are still going to be like half naked anime women.
Yeah, that's true.
They're just not tagged appropriately, you know.
All right, so just continuing on with our Evangelion
Yeah, stay on track.
Right,
Pulling it
yeah.
together, right?
Yeah, we could just do a blanket anime episode at some point, but so as far as like what did you guys think of it when you went back to it again? Like I kind of hated it the first time I watched it, but like I went back
I
this
think
time
you
and I fucking
misunderstood.
loved it.
I've
I
never
did-
seen it before. This was my first watch.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is my first time seeing it in HD.
Oh, okay.
True. I think I watched it in probably like 360p back then. Yeah. So Tyler, what did you think?
Well, like I didn't really know the history behind it, like going into it. So like I just assumed like, oh, people were like, it's like the first mecha anime that really blew up. So like it's probably just robots and shit. and then even the first episode, it's like, what? He's in the fucking Eva for minutes of the entire show.
It's
like not
the
even.
end.
It's
the
like
end
like
of the
30
episode.
seconds, and the rest of it's just like character
And then it
building about
cuts
how he's
away.
a fucking loser. Who,
It cuts away.
Yeah.
He gets his ass beat, and then it cuts to him in a hospital bed.
yeah.
Well, and I think it's actually interesting how the entire show is like it's an allegory for like a lot of things, right? So
Yeah.
like how Denji doesn't have, it kind of like what a bit. Sorry, did I say
Shinji,
Denji?
my
I meant
man.
Shinji. I apologize. I
the
meant
chainsaw
Shinji.
man
soldier
out.
boy.
Okay, Oscar. No, but I think it's really interesting how this show, and Ano talks about this a lot in interviews, especially that one that you sent
Yeah.
to our group chat. And I was like, you really see like how this entire show is like an allegory for Shinji's abandonment and just like how much that could kind of like crush someone, especially
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
developing
Yeah.
like teenager like that. Because again, like at the end of the series, like pretty much the fate of the world depends on him breaking out of like that like toxic mindset that he has, and he just can't. He's locked down.
Like it's just mind-boggling to me, right? Like if you watch a show from like the last 10 years, right, the hero has to have some sort of like fatal flaw that like pulls it all together. But like in Evangelion, every single character is like
Yeah.
completely flawed, and like that's what the whole show's about, is like growing through that, learning through it. Like I think
I don't think
Anno-
there's a single character that likes who they are.
right. I think Anno himself basically said that like especially the early half of the season is like it's all about mental illness and like his own depression and anxiety and like how to get past that. But like none of the characters get past their depression or anxiety, so it's
No.
like it's way fucking darker when you know that.
Yeah, well, and also I think like as we watch like End of Evangelion and even like the end of the original series when you
Right.
see like Shinji when he's in the Instrumentality Project,
The
and everything,
Tang.
right? Yeah, the Tang. He's in the Tang. Don't turn me into Orange Fanta, no! But as like you see all that happening, like you start to see him kind of slowly work past it, right? But it's not him just like curing his depression or his like anxiety or imposter syndrome, any of that. It's pretty much just like everybody else being like, Shinji, the world sucks, but that's okay.
it's
You
just-
know, like that's
it's
kind of
him
how it goes.
accepting that the world isn't going to be a good place.
Yeah, but also it's like it's not that, right? Like, you know, if you watch the movie, right, the End of Evangelion, like the whole point is, you know, the world is flawed, but like that's behind us, right? Like you can now be whoever you want to be, the perfect person. He fucking ruins it for everybody.
That's true, actually. Yeah, that's-
Yes.
Like I don't know. I feel like we should talk about the movie separately because it is separate, you know.
that is fair. Yeah.
It is like an alternate timeline.
Exactly. All right, so I'm looking through the episodes, right? So you get the first one, and like you said, it just ends with us not knowing what happened. Then he
Yep.
wakes up in the hospital bed.
I read that you can
Can I-
split it into like 3 parts. There's like episodes 1 through 6 is like the intro arc.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
7 through like 17
Is-
or 16
Yeah.
is like the weekly
The mind fuck.
yeah, the
Yeah.
weekly battle arc.
Right.
And then beyond that is the mind fuck.
Yeah.
Right. So, can I do some of like my bullet points? I just want to draw attention.
Yeah, of
to?
course, of course.
So yeah, and I'm not going to go too far ahead. This will just be for the first few episodes. Let's see. First bullet point that I put in: Misato is an alcoholic and tries to fluster a 14-year-old. What's with that?
I didn't really
Maybe
I don't know what's wrong with- I don't know if
watched
it's
the dub.
me.
I watched the dub, so maybe
Okay.
that could have been like a translation.
Yeah, I don't know
Well,
if
I
it's
think
me,
it's
but I
notable.
didn't really
The Netflix translation is also way
It's
different,
different.
from the original
Yeah.
series.
Oh,
So like,
okay.
and then there's some places where like their like reinterpreting of the original language completely changes
Yeah.
the meaning of the episode.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, I see Misato as kind of like she kind of acts like a tease for like a 14-year-old boy.
see.
the-
I
in the
didn't
dub.
really
See,
see
I didn't
that.
get that.
Oh,
I didn't
Yeah,
get that.
I didn't see that.
All right, yeah. So I guess it
I
was a
think
big
I
cut.
think that's the take that Anno's making fun of in the End of Evangelion. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
Jared.
that pissed me. I watched it and I was like, Misato, what the fuck are you doing? Like, okay, we're jumping ahead. We're
Yeah, I know.
jumping ahead.
Yeah, calm down, buddy.
Yeah, I was like, well, yeah, because I watched it and I was like, why was that necessary?
Yeah, it was like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to see that. And then just one of the other notes I had from the early couple episodes.
Yeah.
The Avas are obviously angels, right? So I mean,
See, I
Yes
didn't
and
get
no.
that for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't until like I think the whole show is a really good example of like show don't tell, right?
Sure,
Yep.
Like
absolutely.
eventually,
Yeah.
like there
They
are
drip feed you the
there are
entire time.
episodes where they're just like, you know, if you're too stupid to figure it up until now, like this is what happened. But like there's enough going on in the background, like you said, like a drip feed where it's like they're slowly giving you those hints. Where you're like something
Right.
doesn't add up here, right? Like, and that's part of the reason why I like it so much is because I sat down expecting it to just be like a dumb robot anime.
Yeah.
And then it's like they're not even robots, right?
Yeah,
like
'cause
none of what you expected
I
was
believe
correct.
it was even in episode 1 or the start of 2 where you see Unit 1's, it has an organic eye.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and I thought that was super interesting. Like as they develop more, and like honestly, one of my favorite parts of the entire original run was it's when Ava 01 starts to actually break free, and you start to see some of the powers that like comes with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Against
when
like,
like
the,
shit
the paper, paper angel.
Yeah. So because it's when like Shinji like fully like assimilates into the Ava.
Yep.
Right. So you see like when it's like fully synced up with the soul of the mother.
Right.
Right. And when you see that happen, you just see it become like this unwieldy, like biblically accurate, like angel. Essentially, it's crazy.
So I saw an explanation online that also like I think it puts a lot of context into it. So most people in Japan are not Christian. Like Christianity is like one of the lowest, like least common denominations in Japan. So the way that Anno uses Christianity as like a backdrop for all of this is like the way that we would use like Viking. Like it's
I can
just
see
like
that, yeah.
you have like just this very surface level, and you're only taking the parts that like would look good on film, and that's it. Because it's like if
Right.
I'm not, I don't think any of us are very religious, but it's like you very clearly get like these like biblical undertones. But like if you're someone who like actually knows the Bible, like none of it makes any sense. Like it's all just complete bullshit as far as like what they pulled from it
Right.
in order to make.
Right. They got the
Evangelion.
angel names,
And that's
they got
it.
the crosses.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Well, and I think Adam was a big part of that too. Which
Yeah,
I mean,
Adam
like that
and
kind of,
Eve,
you know,
but
like
change it to
yeah.
Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of used, especially with Misato, right? How
Yeah.
she always carries her father's cross with her.
Right.
Like, I think like that's pretty much like I think that's like fairly accurate of how like Christianity often is. You know, where it's more about faith
but,
than anything.
But
else.
again, it's just because like if from an outsider looking, you're like, oh, it's like a token thing. So like obviously
Yeah.
it would be easier for us to draw that on. So it's like we look at it with like all this meaning and pompousness, but like it's no more than like us like using the Vikings at the beginning of the Lost City of Atlantis.
Sure. Yeah.
Like it's just there to look good.
All right, Josh, what you got so far, buddy? For like in like the first arc, kind of like setting the tone.
So for like the first arc, it was kind of here. I got my notes out.
I feel like a
Episode
loser
1.
for not reading any notes.
Yeah. Episode 1. Shinji is already spineless. 4 episodes in, and he already runs away and quits.
How many times did they do that for the whole show?
3, I think.
3.
And then like the whole movie, like the beginning of the movie is
We will-
basically
I
he's just
want-
like
yeah,
fucking
we will get to
spineless.
that.
Hold on.
All right, we'll
hold
get there,
on.
we'll get
All right,
Yeah,
Jared is
I got
vetoing
takes
that.
on that. I
Okay,
got
we'll get there. We'll get there.
I
Sorry,
don't
sorry.
think so.
Go, your notes. Sorry, good
Yep.
sir.
Jared is vetoing that right away.
All right, so yes.
No, do you have anything else
First
that
episode,
that
yeah.
you want to add about the first arc?
A lot of people said like Shinji is like a spineless bitch. He's only really like that for like the first 6 episodes.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
After that, he's like not really like he'll complain.
he's a whiner.
Yeah, he's a whiner, but he'll like get in the damn robot doesn't really
Yeah.
it doesn't really
Yeah.
hit as much anymore because he got in it.
Yeah, like he keeps doing it, right? So
Yeah.
and I do think how
No one forced him into it.
yeah, exactly. And I think I would argue that because of his mental state, right, and like how the show handles like him basically having like
His people
not
pleaser.
a father. Yeah, him being a people pleaser and not really having a father, to be honest with you. And then just like the second his dad shows up, he's like, oh my god, yeah, like obviously he's apprehensive at first, but like I think he has like that deep connection where he's like, yeah, I think I got to do this if I want like dad's approval,
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of that stems from the fact that like all of the characters that are pilots have mommy issues, right? So it's
Oh,
like he obviously didn't have a mother for I think any of his childhood.
Yeah, he was
She
like
was
I think he was
there.
like,
He was, like,
5 when
really- he was young,
He was a
and
toddler.
then Ray obviously
didn't have a mom.
didn't have a mom, and then Asuka's mother was like schizophrenic or something, and like killed
Yeah.
herself in
Yeah.
front of her.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like I think that is like definitely like an overarching theme for the whole show that they all have mommy issues, especially considering like the whole like story behind the Evas.
Yeah, and I mean the thing that I found really interesting too was just kind of like the contradiction I'm sorry, I can't talk. The differences between Rei and Shinji and kind of like how they related to Shinji's dad.
Yes,
Right,
yeah,
so,
very
like,
interesting.
And at the same time, Shinji's dad is a cold-hearted bastard, for the record.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that out there. And it's like, because you see him, right, actually showing a little bit of warmth to Rei, but it's only because of the significance that she holds to Adam.
Yeah.
Which is revealed like later in the show,
I
right? So
think-
you think that he does all like these desperate acts to save her, like when he like burns his hand opening
Yeah.
up her tube. I can't remember what it's called.
The
dummy plug.
yeah.
Yeah, the dummy plug. And and she and he's like ripping it off, and his hands are like permanently scarred because of it, and it's just because of the importance that she has to the project.
Yep.
See, but I think that they also played that off so well. Like, one of Anno's big things is that the whole show was like talking about otaku culture and like the way that it's kind of fucked up the way that people like look at anime and manga and like the way that they treat characters. It's like 110%. I thought that they were sleeping together. Like going into those early episodes, like
Did
I
you
thought
really?
100%. The way that she was like really weird around Shinji and the way that she talked about the father, like 110%. That's what I thought was going on. Because if Evangelion was made today, 100% that's what the story would actually
Probably.
be.
Yeah. Fucking
So-
ugly bastard.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I think it's interesting because so many tropes have like so many tropes were started with Evangelion, and then so many have like crapped up since then that Evangelion like ultimately showed just years before it popped off.
That's fair. Yeah.
There were a lot of camera angles
I think.
for these young characters.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I
and-
was like, it was so Seuss.
Yeah, well, exactly. And at that point, like, it still makes me feel kind of uncomfortable seeing that stuff, to be honest with you.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
But at the same time, like, you could also tell that it wasn't done in kind of like the pervy way that you see in a lot
you
of...
you get there eventually, but initially that's not what I thought, right? Like I just assumed that it was like every other show.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like they basically beat you over the head with it, right? They like tease, oh, there's gonna be a beach episode. We're all gonna go to the beach, and then they don't. They
Yeah.
don't. Everybody but them goes.
I guess, but before we keep moving on, just a couple more quick notes. Shinji isn't as annoying as I remember as a 17-year-old. I think, again,
Honestly, neither was Asuka.
yeah. So,
I think the dub helped with that.
Yeah. So I think Asuka was a total bitch for the first like 2 episodes, and then her depression is caused by not being able to play DDR with Shinji. So like, and then
There's
she becomes
more to that.
Yeah. Then she becomes an interesting character. I think like. That's at least kind of like the turning point where you actually see her to have to like prove to herself as well as others, for the first time in her
But
life.
she becomes interesting when she becomes flawed. Like once
100%.
you figure out that her self-worth is tied to her ability to pilot, and like the fact that she's failing to do that means that she's like failing as a human being.
100%.
That's when you're like, oh wow, she actually like has depth.
Yeah, I do kind of like how we like slowly peel back the layers
Yeah.
of all these characters, right?
Even like not even just looking at the characters, right? The world building alone is just something that I don't think that you see today, right? Like this was something that was original. It didn't have a book preceding it. There was no material that built up this world beforehand. Like they had to do it in 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes so that you can get up to speed. Like the way that it's like the future, but there's still limits, right? Like the very first episode, you see this like giant mecha, and it has to be plugged in to work.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you like what fucking mecha show would ever be like, hold on, the extension cord's not long enough.
Yeah, like
so-
a hardcore handicap, and if it's unplugged, it only has 5 minutes to work.
it's like, and even like the technology and stuff, right? Like it was 93, 90, what was it?
95.
95,
And it
right?
takes place in 2015.
It's
The
95.
far future.
And like they basically have like Walkmans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's,
I do find it really interesting though how you mentioned the power plugs that they have.
it's like grounded.
Yeah.
It's-
So obviously we're nowhere near that, like realistically.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But that being said, when I know we've kind of like haven't really talked about the action sequences because they're more of like a backdrop to the show
Right,
than anything
right.
else. But I will say in the action sequences, they actually do a really good job of making them interesting because they
Yeah.
put those limits on the Avas, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Between them breaking free or only having like 5 minutes of power, whatever
Yeah.
it turns out being. I think that they did an awesome job with just how they actually like choreograph those scenes
Yeah.
and like because it feels like they're stakes, right?
Exactly, yeah.
It's like in stuff like Gurren Lagann, right? And just because that's my favorite mecha anime, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, you know they're gonna win. Okay, they're gonna win. They're gonna punch the other guy
That is
harder,
because they believe in the power of humanity.
which is great. Which is great. It's a great show. But
No, isn't that the same studio? Is that also Gainax?
So
No,
yes,
Trigger.
so
Wait, I thought it was Trigger.
Yes, because Gainax, I don't believe is in a studio anymore.
They committed tax fraud.
Yeah, they're not a studio anymore,
Right.
and a lot of their animators left to form Trigger.
oh, I never knew that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Oh,
So-
Trigger also made Cyberpunk. That was the connection.
They made
that I was
Cyberpunk
making. Okay.
and also
and, was Kill la Kill in there as well?
yeah,
Yes.
Kill la Kill's Trigger.
Drawing in
The
the
Gurren Lagann movies, I believe was still a Trigger property.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
So it still existed when Gurren Lagann was a thing, but now they're Trigger.
Yeah, but I know that it's honestly probably the least interesting part of the show, but like the fight scenes are extremely well done. I mean,
Yeah, no,
I still think
having-
they're interesting.
huh?
I still think they're interesting.
Oh, they totally are.
One of my favorite fights was the against Ramiel, the diamond, the floating diamond.
Oh, the one with the
Yes.
sniper rifle.
Yeah,
that
the one
took
with
all
the
of
sniper
Japan's
rifle.
power.
Yes,
Yes.
I thought that one was cool.
that was
cool.
really cool.
That was
and,
cool.
and it was and kind of like how you were saying how they still keep everything kind of grounded.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome because they still had like that triumphant, almost shonen like victory at the end.
Yeah.
But they still had to drain all of the power from Japan to make that
Yeah,
happen,
I know.
right?
And it's
That was
like
so cool.
especially early on, like, before you really get the glimpse of all the projects going on in the background, you're just like, wow, this is really cool. Like, this is humanity's final stand. Like it's all crazy. Like all resources are going to this, but like the best humanity could do was a fucking robot that needs to be plugged in.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of cool that it's like grounded, yet it's still like these monumental battles. I think like building off of that one, the other one that I really really enjoyed was the one that like had invaded Nerve headquarters, like the virus.
Oh, the virus. That was a cool
that was
one,
a cool
too.
episode.
Yeah, I think my favorite one was probably the one that took over. I think it was Ava 04.
Yes.
Oh yeah, with
The-
the classmate.
Yeah, 'cause
Suzuhara.
I actually, it's not often.
They forgot about him.
Yeah, Suzuhara.
They
Yeah,
forgot about him as soon as he went into the
I
hospital
think
bed.
he's in the movies though, like in the later movies, because I've seen
He
him
is
in
in the
some like the
rebuild.
promo
He
artwork.
is in the rebuild timeline, which
Yes.
is a way more happy. It's a way
Oh,
more
that's
happy
good.
timeline.
Okay, but so the thing that I don't even say that because I didn't even like that episode. I agonized watching that episode. And again, I'm not sure how it was for the sub, but at least for the dub, Shinji's voice actor, those screams were like stuck in my head. Like they did an incredible performance on that. So like when you see Shinji, where he's like, "Fuck it, just like let him kill me. I don't want to be a part of this. I can't like kill like another human being."
Yeah.
Despite the fact that realistically, I mean, the angels are not too far removed from humanity, right?
Right.
So, and then his dad needs to take over the control of the mecha. When you just watching Ava 01 crush the plug
Yeah.
of Suzuhara, I felt like ill afterward. I felt like my heart sank.
Yeah, it was tough, but then
It was hard to watch.
they were a little bit. There was a little bit of cowardice there because he didn't die. He was fine.
I think because they still had other episodes left, they didn't want to make Shinji's dad completely irredeemable at that point.
It's true.
But I think the coolest thing from that is that whole episode like mirrors the episode with the white-haired angel that comes later.
Kaoru.
Kaoru.
Yeah. So like this is one of the big gripes with the Netflix translation.
Sure.
So in the original translation sub/dub, the Kairu in the shower or whatever, in the Netflix adaptation, whether it's dubbed or the sub, he's like, "Oh, I like you." Right? So like
Yeah.
as an American, we're like, "Oh, they're friends."
Yeah, they're good
Oh, no,
buddies.
no, there's still that that
Okay,
subtext.
but the original
There
sub
is a
was
lot,
literally
yeah.
"I love you," and not
Oh,
like
okay.
and like you know how Japanese there's like multiple ways to say the same word, whatever.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
it wasn't like the "Oh, I love you" as a friend. It was like, "Oh my God, they're two men who share a bed for 30 years. Like they love each other."
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that one word, like that one like sub/dub change, completely changes the context of that entire
Yeah,
episode.
and I gotta say, Shinji fucking goes through it, which I know is like kind of like the understatement of the year when it comes
Yeah.
to the show. But like,
But I
for
still
the-
hate him. He's a fucking loser.
He is a loser. He is a loser
I don't understand his obsession with Kaoru either. He knew the guy for like a day.
because no one else in
showed him
Shinji's life
affection.
exactly. No one else in Shinji's life has shown him affection without like any strings attached.
So that first
That's
toxic
true.
taste of love, you know?
Misato,
She would tell him,
yeah,
"Good job."
Misato is ready to fucking kill Shinji if he doesn't get in the Ava, right? His dad never gave a shit about him. Asaka bullies him, right? And then like Rei is just basically a robot, right? Like.
Are you guys familiar with that that really like cerebral show? It's on Adult Swim. I think it's called Richard and Mortimer.
Stop it. Ugh.
So
Yes.
they're one of the episodes they have like someone who's like commenting on Rick's drinking. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I do that sexy drinking, not that fucking trailer park shit." Where between, from a scale of sexy drinking to trailer park shit, where do we put Misato? Because she's basically a functioning alcoholic.
She's a pedophile.
I mean, only
No. See, the fact that you say only in what time?
only in the movie, which I don't
Only
know.
in the movie.
Only
'Cause
in the movie.
I didn't get that vibe at all in the show.
Yeah, and even in the movie, it was weird and awkward, and like was clearly just to get him to shut the fuck up and get in the elevator.
It was because he was unbearable in the movie. He did not do a single thing the entire movie, dude.
All right.
I
First
wrote
off-
in my notes, I'm like 40 minutes in and he's done nothing.
Okay, but another part of that was that the Ava was literally stuck. Okay, the Ava was
Even
not,
before
he
that,
had to
dude.
use
Even
his
before that,
connection
even
to the-
before
okay.
that.
Shinji, dude, there was no Shinji for the first 45 minutes of the movie. There was fucking Eeyore just sitting there. Oh, this is so sad.
He like came in his hand and he did nothing.
Over his comatose best friend.
Yeah, let's. Okay, so I guess we're jumping.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
I'm okay jumping at it.
No,
That's
no,
fine.
no.
Okay.
All right, we've talked about like the beginning. Let's talk about
Okay.
the middle part. Let's
right.
talk about the inflation episode.
Yeah. Oh my god. All three.
As soon as that happened, I paused
I
it.
want
I
that to be
wrote my
on-
notes.
Yeah, it,
Asuka, inflation?
The
3
under
question
lava
marks?
inflation episode.
The fucking volcano baby.
Yeah, and then Shinji Boner?
Okay.
What? I didn't see
So
that.
real quick. All right.
After she gets out of the lava, Misato's like, let's go to the hot springs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was when they ask him to toss over his shampoo, and they're talking about each other's bodies. He's like,
okay, here's
and the penguin stares at his little peepee.
This, and again, it might not have been in the sub, but I'm just gonna speak to my experience in the dub. There is a specific line in the hot spring scene because I made a note of it, and I was like, "Is Misato a pedophile?" Because at one point, her and Asuka, they're like fooling around, and then Asuka's like, "Hey, stop touching me there," and she's like, "Oh no, you're way too sensitive. You're gonna like that when you're older." I'm like, "What the fuck did I just listen to?"
See, but that's
Can you
also,
hear the music
Jerry, that's
that's
also
playing, though?
a classic anime trope where when girls are in hot springs, they just fondle each other's
Okay,
boobs.
but it's different when one of them is 30 and one of them's 14. Like, I looked it up. Those were the ages.
Can
I
you
believe.
hear that music in your head, right?
Yes, I know the music.
The slice of life Evangelion tune.
Yeah.
Like I think
Every
that
time
is
they're in her
iconic.
apartment.
The apartment, the hot springs.
Yeah. Okay. One note that I did have later on is that the soundtrack bops. Okay, like the combat music, to
The
theme,
next
to everything
episode
else.
song alone hits harder than it has
Yeah.
any right to.
Oh yeah, and speaking of, as we keep going on here, one of the things that I shared with you last week, Tyler, the most relatable things about the show is that Misato is basically in charge of saving the world and doesn't have a living wage, and Shinji saves the world on a regular basis, and his dad still doesn't say "I love you."
Damn.
Yeah, right. And then following up on Misato's drunkenness again, she tells what is it, Kaji? Right? Is that the guy's name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
bad with character names. All right,
The
yeah.
love interest.
Yeah, yeah. So when she's drunk
I
and
got
like
all the
Kaji
names
was walking
written
her
down, don't
home, she says, "I saw my father and the man I was dating." Been there, brother. Let me tell you.
Whoo!
And then
Before I forget, that's another gripe with the Netflix edition.
Sure.
So the original show, the ending music was a Japanese rewrite of
Flight
Flight of the Moon.
Yeah.
The
They
Netflix
didn't
one
get-
blows.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they couldn't get the licensing. Which
Is
is
It's
that
fucking
lame.
Netflix. They're like a
I
quadrillion
know.
dollar movie or
All the money
studio.
got funneled into Stranger Things.
And I'll tell you what, though, one thing that I don't think Misato had the strength to do, Kaji shoots down Asuka. Thank God.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, did you not? Yeah, so there's a scene when they're laying on the
Well,
ship.
she's
It's
yeah,
a
yeah,
flashback.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
flashback.
yeah, yes,
And
yes,
she's
yes.
like, I'm
Hell
a real,
no.
like
Yes,
I'm a
yes,
real
yes,
girl.
yes, yes,
You
yes,
know?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
hell no. Get away from me.
Yeah, he's like, get the fuck off me, Asuka. Yeah, so I do think it's really interesting, though, how, like, these kids, right, so they're in charge of saving the world. It's like, they have, like, literally the pressure of saving the world on top of them, but they're still treated like children, right? And they don't realize that a lot of the time.
Looking at Kaji, he's like the only unproblematic character.
I mean, even then, I think he is treasonous. I never fully understood his plot
he's like
line,
a
to be honest with you.
quadruple agent, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
fuck it.
so-
Like I think his intentions were still good.
He
Yeah,
worked
exactly.
for
I don't think he's
Nerve.
a bad guy.
He worked for Nerve.
And all the Nerve
He
people
worked for
suck.
Japan. And he worked for
Sele?
Gendo.
And the United
did
Nations.
he also work for Sele?
Yes.
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 Because
Okay.
he was working for and against Gendo at the same time.
I
He was
could
working
not keep track of
He
that
was
shit.
working for like Japan's safety administration and Nerve at the same time.
What did you think about? It was in one of the middle episodes. They're the fucking knockoff Eva that this other Japanese country or company makes.
the JA?
I really
Yeah.
liked, like, that felt almost like a filler episode. Like, I enjoyed
but it was still good, you know.
Yeah, no, it was still good, and there was still plenty of, like, political subtext,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
tossed in there, you know?
Yeah, because that was like, wasn't that like the Americans Eva?
Yeah.
Basically.
yeah, yeah.
And it sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't fucking rad looking like
Yeah,
the Avas.
it was plain.
It was very
was
like
square.
militaristic. It was square. Yeah.
It had a nuclear reactor where you could see the control rods outside of it. Like
Yes.
it's basically just like fucking walking Chernobyl, and you're expected as the viewer to be like, "There's nothing wrong with this. This is not like us telling you what's gonna happen."
Well, and then I do find it really interesting though that it was sabotaged.
And I don't.
The only reason why it didn't work was because Gendo sabotaged it.
It's
did.
also a little
So
on
it
the
probably-
nose. It's like a walking nuke in like a Japanese city.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. But at the same time, again, like there's like these Lovecraftian monsters that
Yeah.
put armor
True.
on and are
If it wasn't
them.
sabotaged, it probably would have worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the implication at the end of the episode.
Yeah, 'cause-
Yeah, no, definitely.
It would have definitely worked and replaced the Evas because it would run longer. It didn't need a
Arctic, I think. Like that part of the reason it was a filler episode was because they were telling you about what happened in the first impact, right? Like that's the reason Gendo and his second in command weren't in Japan.
I believe so.
I forgot what they were looking for there, though.
I forgot to. Yeah, again, like there's a lot of. Oh no, it was something about the Dead Sea Scrolls that like.
Oh,
told it-
yeah, trying
yeah.
to find something.
Yeah, they had to try. Yeah, and again, like because the show doesn't explain a lot, so I do want to clarify and I want to get your takes on this. So Sele, so basically Sele and Nerve both wanted to do the instrumentality project in one way, but Sele wanted it to do in like we're human but we're not good enough to live way.
I don't think Nerve as a whole wanted to. I think only Gendo did.
Yeah, but then Gendo wanted it to be like, oh, we're going to be like a hive mind. We're going to be one people. We're going to be unified. I think that was his viewpoint, right?
I don't.
It was kind of hard to tell.
I think they wanted the same thing. I think that Gendo was trying to manipulate it so that he was the one who started it and he was the one who had all the power.
That's an interesting take.
Because my understanding, because like we can get into that towards the end because like that's what the final episodes are. Yeah. But I think like knowing that as the context, looking back, I think it was like they all wanted the same thing, but Gendo wanted it his way, and the other people just wanted it done. They didn't care how it was done as long as it happened.
Going back to the movie too, the movie flips that and makes Seal or Sele, however it's pronounced, go on like a full-on assault.
Yeah, they become the evil people.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that quite a lot though. Like, I think the movie, so at least the way and how I interpreted it, and I think you guys might disagree from what we've already talked about, but it seems like that 25 and 26 are what happens when Shinji's in like the world tree, basically.
I think so, yeah.
And then like End of Evangelion is everything else that's happening, right?
Yeah, I think it's a different take on it.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it is a little different
because it shows you in the original show. It shows you
when they're like clapping and everything. And
Ritsuko, the scientist lady, and Misato. You know, they get shot and killed, but they're in different areas compared to the movie. So it is an alternate timeline.
Oh, okay.
So you have the first couple. You have the first like arc, which is kind of just here are all the characters. This is the background. You know, this is just a dumb robot movie. Don't think about it any more than that. You have the middle where it's like you start to get these ideas that something really fucked up's going on here, right? So it's like I think the best comparison that I can make is if you watch Cowboy Bebop. All these episodes, they talk about the gate explosion, and then towards the end, you actually have a couple episodes dedicated to like people that survived the gate explosion, like the way the Fate's still alive, that kind of crap. In Evangelion, you get this like sense that like something's really fucked up about the Evas, like these aren't robots, and that whatever happened in the Antarctic, we were probably involved, right? Like this didn't just happen.
Of course we were.
So, because I think in those middle episodes is when you get Misato's backstory, like her being in the like proto dummy plug, and that's the reason she survived.
Episode 14 or something
like that, right? I think that all of that crap that like where you're suddenly the show's more about the crap going on in the background than about the robot fights or even just like what's actually happening in front of you.
Yeah, because after Shinji takes out Suzuhara, like there's episodes before like the 25 and 26 that each episode's dedicated to like the person's backstory.
Yes,
that's true. Yeah. So I am curious though. So I didn't look too much into the background of End of Evangelion. So was that made in like retaliation to the original ending, or do you think it was just Anna wanting to do it?
I think it's a little bit of everything. Like I think that he was unhappy with how it ended because like he's very clearly like an artist at heart, right? Yeah. The whole thing was he wanted this to be like the perfect and his little baby, and he ran out of money. So I think 25 and 26, while still very valid and something that he's proud of, it's not how he wanted Evangelion to end.
Because you hear a lot of him not being too proud of how it ended, which is why End of Evangelion exists, which is why Rebuild exists.
Right. And now how many Rebuild movies are there?
There's like four.
Four. Okay, four.
Because I think it's 1, 2,
3 plus 1.
3 plus 1, yeah. Yeah.
All right. I guess as we keep plugging.
So is there anything in the middle? Anyone else like
The rest of my comments are mostly about the stuff at the end. To be honest.
Okay. The middle was more so just like I don't know. It wasn't boring.
No. I don't think I was never bored at any point of this.
I think the world building nerd in me liked the middle of the best, just because the end is so like art house, where it's like unless this is really what you signed up for, it's like it's really cool, it's really interesting. But like it's also like so far out of left field.
Yeah, the middle was a lot of character development,
and like just showing you like the world building and the history and the lore and everything, and like the literal shadowy figures of Gendo, and like are they world leaders? Are they company owners? I don't think it ever really tells you.
I don't even know. Are they even real people?
I did look into it a little bit. So Sele is essentially like a rogue faction of the UN, if I believe correctly.
Oh, okay. So it's just people who have power.
It's the Bilderbergs.
Yes, it's very it's basically some of the most powerful people on the planet, and they're like. And generally, what I was able to pull from like when I saw on the wiki, it seems like they wanted to just kind of just start humanity, stop humanity, I should say.
One of the other things that I really didn't get, and I don't remember if this was towards the end or if it was in the middle when they started talking about what happened in Antarctica, the older guy that worked with Gendo, his second in command.
Yes. Josh got the names
we're
pulled up.
getting-
Feudsky.
Yep. Did he have a relationship with Yui?
No, I think it was like a professor loves his student type thing. I think it was a weird.
Yeah.
So that was another one of those things where it's like I didn't know if I was projecting on it because it's like again, if this anime came out now, it'd be like 100%.
There's
that's
a
what
lot
happened.
there's a lot of mingling going on in the show. Like
Yeah,
Gendo was a baller, as bad of a father as he was. He had game.
But also like it clearly seems like he did that just to manipulate people,
He
right?
did,
Like
yeah,
he's
they
a
still fell
scumbag.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dirtbag, but they still went for it.
Yeah.
You know that is someone we didn't. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So I don't think you're just projecting that because at the end when the Instrumentality Project starts, the last person he sees is Yui. So I absolutely think like maybe it was like a daughterly thing, but
That makes it 10 times worse. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was more of like he had romantic feelings. He had romantic feelings for Yui, and was pretty much jealous of Ikari, and that's the only reason why he signed up.
I think so. Yeah, because
okay.
that was my takeaway.
he was when like she was mentioning that she was like getting married to him. He was like, "Oh, that guy."
Yeah.
So one person we didn't talk about that I think is worth talking about is the computer lady.
Ritsuke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Ritsuke,
that-
right? Did I say that right?
Ritsuko.
Ritsuko. All right, thank you.
What is her role in the show? Because other than the fact that she's just a character that Misato can like talk to and like is the same age as her, like she doesn't add a significant amount.
I would personally disagree with that because I think
She's like the third person that knows everything that's going on.
Well,
But I think that she also doesn't know everything, right?
no, I mean she knew that like the Ava, like how the Avas were created and all that.
Yeah.
I think the main reason why she was there is to be kind of like that like tie-in point. So like she was part of like the first generation of people from Nerve because she knows about like what her mother did
before it
with
was
the
Nerve.
Magi.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I think like her being there and then her kind of being like, I think there's a lot of times where she acts almost in like opposition to Misato. So
Yeah.
I think that like Misato having that kind of competition, like they slap each other like half
That
a
was the
dozen
other
times
thing.
in the show. You know, like
Did Misato know what was going on? Like I got the vibe that
She didn't know at first.
She didn't know,
Eventually.
right?
She
Because
didn't know at
that's
first.
part of the end arc is like showing
Yeah, she finds
the
out.
basement,
Yeah.
the basement.
yes,
Because Kaji comes in
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of reveals that to her
Okay.
that she doesn't like. There's more layers to Nerve than there
I
is.
really liked the whole like storytelling behind the Magi, like the fact that it was like her mom and that there was like just fucking chunks of brain in this computer. Like I don't know, it was very
There was definitely chunks of brain on those
So
computers.
all right, here's this is something that I was thinking about watching it, right?
You like that?
that was bad.
I don't know if it's just like the giving credit to another, right? But Metal Gear, right? Fucking Konami, another, you know,
Yep. Genius Kajimbo.
the Kanye of the East, if you will. Fucking the person's in the computer in that game movie or game 2. Fucking Adokan's mom
Yeah.
is in the computer, like her body's in the fucking computer.
Yeah.
So is that paying homage to Evangelion, or is it just like a cool Japanese thing that like
Or
computers
is it
are
like
people?
someone's essence, where someone's essence is in a computer?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like cyberpunky though. So and like honestly, I know that Metal Gear isn't like a cyberpunk styled game.
Yeah.
but like it takes a lot of like story,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
plot elements from that. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I wouldn't be surprised.
I
if-
was just curious because like again, it's like that alternate history. Like I
Yep.
didn't know if it was, you know, especially because like I think if you watch a lot of anime and you read a lot of manga, there's a lot of like people paying homage to like the people that came
Right.
before him.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't know if that was him just being like a badass or him being like, oh yeah, like, you know.
I think it was just paying homage, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. So one thing I wanted to add about the last arc, the beast that shouted "I" at the heart of the world is absolutely the hardest episode title I've ever heard, even though I don't know what it means.
The thing too is that the episode titles on Netflix are different from the actual show
Really?
titles.
Serious?
Oh, I didn't realize that.
when it would do the mid, like the commercial break,
Yeah.
when the thing came back, it would have a different title.
Oh yeah. They do put those in Netflix though.
There's
right?
a
Unless they don't
couple
translate
titles.
them. I'm not sure.
No, because there was like the title in the corner, like the one you just named.
Yeah.
But then in the actual like show, when it cuts
Yeah.
to commercial break in quotes, and the I don't know what the term is, but the screen comes back.
Yeah, they do.
Like
that
it says
in Netflix,
Neon
though.
Genesis Evangelion, and then it'll have the title in the corner. It's different.
Yeah, no, they do that. They translate that in the dub at least. So like in this episode, for example, when they come back from the commercial break, it's something else. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
Before I forget too, like I like having watched like YouTube documentaries and stuff about the show after the fact. I kind of picked up on this a little bit more, but like I kind of picked up on it when I was watching it like the first time by myself. Did you guys get like all the Freudian shit in the show?
Yes.
Like literally,
Yes.
like one of the you talking about the titles will remind me like one of the intertitles was like the oral stage, and it's like literally talking about like what Freud thought babies went through.
Yeah, agree. I mean, if you think about it, it's quite literally all these characters going inside of their mother.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And,
like
like, them
it's like
bonding
this
with
like
their soul,
like
you know?
really weird
Even
like
when,
Oedipus complex.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
even
is.
when Ray
Yeah.
takes in one of the angels, her Eva gets pregnant. Do you remember the worm, like the
There was
tapeworm?
two inflation
Yes.
episodes.
There was 2 inflation episodes,
Yes,
like the
you're right.
tapeworm angel.
Oh
When she
yes,
puts
I
it
do
into
remember
her
that.
Eva,
Yeah.
It bloats the stomach.
No, I
You're
missed
right.
that clearly.
No, yeah, you're right. Well, and especially though, like when you like the entire thing with trying to like find peace like within your mother, right? Like Asuka's final fight in
The movie was
in the movie.
sick.
It was awesome.
Like she stopped being mopey, like a certain other someone.
Yeah, well, and it's because
A certain other sack of
Certain
shit.
other someone.
okay, you're right. So she
Like
stopped.
she had her self-realization, her epiphany, and she was happy for once.
Well, and here's the
And
thing,
then
right?
she
And
died.
then she fucking got demolished.
Sorry.
But no, so she. But yeah, no, so the only time when she actually fully unlocks the power of the Eva is when she realizes that it's her mother in there, and she
Yeah.
realizes like what happened, right?
Yeah.
Now, in
I
that-
don't
I'm
even
not
think
sure-
Shinji knows it's his mom.
No, because Shinji's an idiot. Okay,
Yeah,
like let's.
I don't think it's ever mentioned it's his
So
mom.
this is the other question.
No, I mean, Shinji's dad brings it up. Like
Yeah,
he
but not to
calls her
Shinji.
Yui, but not to Shinji. Agreed.
No.
Yes,
Just conspiracizing here, right? Did Gendo kill her fucking mom?
probably.
She's like-
Wait. No, are you talking about Asuka's mom or are you
Yes.
talking about Shinji?
Because like I definitely got the vibe where it's like, they keep telling you, oh, she's schizophrenic, she's crazy, and then like people were telling her the kind of things that would make her kill herself. Like, because it's like very like heavily implied that her husband who like cheated on her with like the lab lady,
Yeah, when she was still alive.
was feeding her shit that would be like, oh yeah, like you did this or you did that, like basically gaslighting her into killing herself. So like, was that just him or was Gendo in the background like this bitch needs to go?
I'll be honest.
we need her soul in that robot now.
Well, so here's the thing, though, right? So the entire school is made up of kids who don't have moms, or who
Which
have
they
moms
don't
that
tell
died.
you until way later.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for them to all get enrolled in that school, I mean, yeah, Nerve probably had something
That's
to
what
do
I'm
with all
saying.
that.
Because
Yeah.
especially like the way that it's like so heavily, like they hit you over the head with it over and over again towards the end. Like, eventually, initially it's like, oh, there is no blah, blah, blah group. It's just Nerve picking these
Yeah, there's
people.
no-
And then
yeah, there's
later
no
on, they're like,
Murdoch
no,
Institute.
it's just Gendo picking people.
Yeah.
So it's like, if they want someone and they currently have a mom, like, what did Gendo do to make them get into that school?
Yeah.
Because they were like, there's like 108 companies connected to Nerve, but only like 106 of them are fake.
Yeah. No, yeah. So basically, that would not surprise me. It's probably very likely if we're conspiracizing.
Yeah.
Conspiracizing.
While we're
yeah.
conspiracizing, also
Yes.
apparently this whole thing was a big like not only was it him talking about his depression and everything else, but it was him shitting on the American industrial military complex.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially the movie.
Quite literally, how they would, even at the most surface level, about how they would have literal children fight in these wars if they
Yes.
could. Yes, I completely agree. Yeah. No. Actually, do you guys want to talk about the last 2 episodes before we fully jump into the movie?
Well, was there anything else towards the end where it was like, kind of interesting?
That was most of what I had.
Okay.
Oh, actually, one other note. When they did the reveal about the dummy plug, in how it was all just like clones of Rey, and,
Oh,
like, her
yeah.
and, like her consciousness. Dude, my jaw hit the floor. That was one thing that I
Oh,
know
like
that
the
I watched
tank
it
of
before.
Reys?
Yes,
Yeah.
that absolutely blew my mind. One thing that I thought was interesting though, it looked like she was floating in Tang. So I'm not sure if that
Well,
would have something
you
to do
also
with
see the Tang
intelligence.
early on too, because
Yeah.
Shinji is like fully absorbed into the
Oh yeah.
Into
I-
the Fanta.
in the Fanta, yeah.
Fanta,
like they
yeah.
fucking crack open the plug and it's just a puddle.
Yeah, you're right.
What was the context for that though? I don't remember because
Isn't that after he gets fully absorbed into it? After Ava 01 breaks free? Because
Yes.
he gets like fully in sync with the Ava, and they're like, "Oh, Shinji,
yeah,
what's happening?"
400
when he was in
100%
the
yes.
black hole, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the next episode, he's Tang, and they're like trying to get him back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
okay.
that's a little bit too big brain for me, to be honest with
But
you.
I think that was a turning point. Like that.
Yes.
That was really where it's like, if you think that this is just a show about robots, like after this episode, you're just a dumbass. Because like I honestly like
I think you put it in the notes where you said basically that if you think this is just a show about robots, you're either too young or too stupid.
Well, yeah, because the last 2 episodes, a lot of it is just words on the screen.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, one of the things that I really liked about it is that like I'm all for character breakdowns and figuring out like what makes these characters tick, especially at like a deep level.
Yeah.
But holy shit, like I'm watching like I remember it being a mindfuck the first time I watched
Yeah.
it through when I was a teenager. Me watching it again, like I understand the context a lot
Yeah.
more. But still, I'm like, oh my god! Like, it's pretty much just Shinji hitting himself over the head with like, "Hey, yeah, you're worthless. You're an idiot." And then
But
eventually, he breaks
there's
free.
so many more things than that, right?
Oh,
like
100%, yeah.
like because based on how much like research Anno did into like psychology and like Freud and talking about that, like there's little like character traits that you like see over and over again where like he's really telling you some like really dark twisted shit, right? Like Asuka's whole thing about like being a full woman and like trying to throw herself at Kaji. Like young women that do that are usually victims of abuse.
Sure. Yeah.
So like he's basically telling you like, oh yeah, like through this whole process of her becoming a pilot, like she was probably raped, and they're like fucking 14 years old. So
Yeah.
like and that's just like one example. There's like tons of other cases where it's like these people have like clearly lived like fucking they're victims.
Oh yeah. Everyone in this show is just like another one of the notes I had. It was a bullet point that was like, Jesus Christ, just go to therapy. Like it's just like, oh my god. Because like everyone in the show, and
All
like,
the therapists died in the second impact.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, because I remember like it was like me watching it. I'm like, I think Gendo is the only person who doesn't have like this incredibly traumatic backstory. Especially because like I think
No,
Gendo,
he's just fucked up on
he's
his
a
own.
psychopath.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
like I'm pretty sure he killed his
kinda-
wife. I'm pretty sure he killed.
It's all part of the plan.
Well,
Yeah.
he killed a bunch of people, right? He killed
Oh,
Oh no, Ray killed the computer lady.
So I'm not sure about that.
So-
let's talk about that real quick.
Well,
So,
one of the Rays.
So Ray 1, which is the name of the child Ray,
Yeah.
she was killed, right?
she was killed because I have the name
Rizky's mom,
Naoko.
right?
Naoko, the mom,
Okay.
strangles her and kills her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I think that Nerv kills her then, right?
Well,
because
she-
there's like a gunshot
she-
that goes off.
No,
No, she commits
jumps.
suicide.
Yeah, she jumps off
Oh,
because she's on the top level of their
Oh,
command
I didn't
center,
realize that.
and she
Okay.
jumps down. She jumps down and cracks her skull on the Magi.
I didn't realize that.
And then
Yeah.
the insinuation is like after that event is when the Magi becomes fully operational because they fucking harvest her ass to make the computer.
I mean, I guess that does give more credence to when Ritsuko, right? I always forget
Yeah.
Ritsuko, how she always says how she's like telling us, like the viewer, about like that story with her mom saying how there's like the 3 versions of her mother,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So I think,
I
I
like
think
that she
that
was
was also
saying-
to feed the Oedipus complex concept.
yes.
I like that she was saying she had like a bad relationship with her mother, but they were like writing letters to each other. There was like never any
Yeah, I was
animosity.
gonna say,
Yeah.
they were like clearly like really good friends. Like, you
Yeah.
know, she's just supporting her and everything. And yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think
it's like
here's
fucking Meet
thing,
the
though.
Robinsons.
Again-
Everybody hated me.
Well, so I think the reason why she's
Hey, Goob, want to come over for snacks? Hey, Goob, want to be on the baseball team?
Everyone hated me.
well, so I think the reason why Ritsuko says that though, stop.
It's because to work for Nerve, you have to be a flawed, fucked up.
No,
Yes.
well, I think the reason I wouldn't be surprised if Nerve told her otherwise though. I doubt they said your mom. I doubt that they said that your mom committed suicide. Like they probably, or if she did, maybe, you know, Ritsuko has some conflicted feelings about like, I can't believe she would like leave the planet, you know, like without saying anything,
Yeah.
you know, like no nothing.
Well, and
right?
she
Like,
she
it
doesn't
could've been
like
any number of things.
She doesn't like Ray either. So like, I also get the vibe that like they told her, oh no, like Ray killed her. Like
Yeah.
that's what fucking happened.
maybe,
and
yeah.
she died in the struggle or something
She's
like that.
disconnected in general because she's always the one to prioritize the Eva over the kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the other thing too is, although you see her like go splat, you never see her jump.
No, you just hear it.
So like, someone could have fucking shoved her. Like Gendo
Yeah.
could have been like,
You'll never
I'm
know.
sick of this shit.
Did call her an old hag.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
Gendo
right. I
hated
forgot
her.
that Ray was just fucking parroting whatever
Yeah,
Gendo
kid
said.
version. Yeah, kids. Am I
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Wow.
No filter.
No filter.
Yeah, my mommy and daddy are moving out. There's a backflip into the pool, you know. Oh man, yeah, no, that's yeah, I do really think it's interesting how literally every single character in the show is extremely flawed in one way or another.
Yeah.
And it's all in like a fairly relatable way.
Yeah.
Right? Like whether it's referring to like anxiety, depression, trying
Yeah.
to prove yourself, you know, like all these things are in like Anna was going through it when he made this show, man. Like I just like Jesus
Wait,
Christ.
I'm gonna like personally add Jared here because you cannot participate in this conversation. You have nothing to add to this.
Oh boy.
Sheesh.
Josh,
Yo.
when they initially show you Ray's like dingy fucking apartment with all the
Yeah.
trash everywhere, could you smell that picture?
Absolutely, dude.
Could you smell the fucking the BO and trash just like
Yes.
fucking stewing up from the ground?
that same beaker of water probably hasn't moved
Yeah, fucking
in
the
15
moldy,
years.
stinky fucking apartment.
The bed sheets are probably the same from when she moved in there.
And she's got the fucking glasses.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, yeah, that was tough.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I keep interrupting you.
No, that was not an interruption at all. That was great. So, do we want to officially move on to the movie now?
Well, we didn't really talk about the last two episodes, right?
Oh, actually, yeah. Let's keep going into it because I kind of said my piece.
It's
my
like
piece.
Excuse you.
I don't think that you're supposed to understand it, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure like
Yeah.
Gendo's like trying to walk away, like, you know, well, to be honest, you kind of need a high HQ to.
On a surface level, if you don't think too hard about it, it would be like Shinji kind of accepts himself,
Yeah, kind of.
That's what I thought at the ending. Yeah.
But like,
but then you don't find out what happens after.
but without the context of everything else, like, yeah, like they keep talking about like the human instrumentality like project and all
Right.
this shit, but like they don't really spell it out like they do in the movie.
Yeah.
So basically, the show just ends, and you have these two like fucking avant-garde episodes.
Yes,
You're like,
because-
oh great.
Well, what's funny about that is 25 is when it starts, and then 26, the beginning was like, yeah, here's the human instrumentality project, but a lot's going on, so we're just gonna focus on Shinji.
Oh yeah, literally, that's all. It's like
Yeah.
a black fucking wall with that
Yeah.
written on it, right?
We're not even gonna focus on it because too much is happening, so we're just gonna focus on one person, on what they're going through.
And they're like flat fucking broke, so they're like drawing him in 2D on a napkin, and like,
I
and
liked
you can
those,
move
though.
side
Yeah,
to
I thought
side,
it was
but you
really
give up
interesting.
freedom when you.
Yeah,
It was
Like,
interesting,
let's
but it was
add
also
some
like,
ground, but then you feel safe. But now you can't fly, so now there's not much freedom.
like I don't understand. Like all the stuff that they were talking about has no fucking context whatsoever. Like even now, like I vaguely understand what it was about. I vaguely understand what the ending was.
So you're
supposed
saying
to
it was
be.
all fortune cookies?
Literally though, like you could have just fucking pulled those cookies out and like the text they read, they're like, okay, put this in big white letters, no fucking explanation, no pictures, no sound. They'll figure it out, or they won't. I don't care. We're out of money.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
It's like okay. So you watch Shinji in what, middle school, high school?
Yeah. 14. Yeah. Probably.
But now in like the apocalypse, you're seeing him inside of a fucking like school gymnasium that we never once saw inside the
Yeah.
show. Like I don't understand.
Okay, I can enlighten you on that one, and I will say with relative confidence,
Okay.
that it's because of the fact that Shinji, because of his imposter syndrome, he feels like everyone's constantly watching him. Right? There's quite literally a stage in that auditorium that like he probably imagines himself to be on,
I gotcha.
and everyone else in his life is like constantly like just staring at him with lights, you know, like fully like right on his face, and like
I think
him
part of
just
my problem
watching
too
them.
now is like I'm trying to remember what was in the movie and what was the last two episodes because like even the movie had some fucking tang.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
the movie just
The movie
goes,
had the fourth wall shit.
yeah, it just goes real life. Like here's real life,
Right
in the
right,
movie.
right. Okay, so that was a movie. So the 25 and 26 was really just like the whole thing
Crayola
about freedom
markers.
and the Crayola. Okay.
Yeah.
The argument with Asuka and all that was the movie. That didn't happen in 25 or 26, right?
That was,
They argue in both.
But
yeah.
not the same. The movie was one where they like really like.
Yes, the movie is
Yes.
one where they
She's
get
like,
violent.
bitch, I know what you fucking did over my body, right? Yeah.
Yes.
okay,
Yes, and then,
okay,
and then he
okay.
strangles
'cause
her
that-
for it.
Yeah. Yes. Do you know how haunting it is that the last word ever said in End of Evangelion in that timeline?
Disgusting.
Disgusting. Yeah.
All right, so I don't even remember if they show people turning into Tang in the fucking original.
No, they don't. They don't.
It
Because
just
it caught me
cuts.
completely off guard.
But you see Misato and the other one shot dead.
Yeah,
Yes.
because they're just quick little
Right,
2-second
right,
cutaways.
but we don't know the
Because in the
context.
show,
They're
it
just
just
dead.
in the show, it just cuts to it.
Yeah.
It just cuts the instrumentality happening. In the movie, it shows how it happened,
I'm trying to remember too. So like, the congratulations scene is obviously where the original series ends.
Yes.
They're just like in the
Yeah.
the the vaporwave beach, and
Yes.
I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be like heaven or something. I'm sure it's more complex
That's
than that.
probably like
you know?
really tongue in cheek, right? Like,
Yeah.
that would make sense.
Yeah. I know there's probably like 17 more layers to it.
Yeah,
than
I
just
know.
Both the
heaven,
show
but-
and the movie say like, it's on you.
Yeah.
It's on
Oh,
you to
to make that
reform the earth.
decision?
Yeah.
Well, it's on him, right?
Yeah. Because both movie and show, they're like, yeah, this is what you wanted. Where
Well,
it's
and-
just him alone.
But also in the original show, he doesn't come back. Like, congratulations, that scene is
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
It's up to you to just
that's
interpret what happens after.
Oh,
The movie shows after, and it's fucked.
the
Yeah.
marshmallow fork, the
Oh yeah, the spit roaster,
the spit roaster,
the
that-
spear of
Longinus.
yeah, Longinus.
Longinus. Yeah.
Okay. I had this really cursed
Longinus
thing
Donginus.
where it was like Peter Griffin saying Longinus. It was like, hey Lois, look at that spear of Longinus. Like,
Well, that's what the dub said though. It was definitely
yeah,
Longinus.
it did.
So that was in the movie, but it was just like vaguely discussed in the TV show,
Yeah,
right? Like they
yes.
fucking threw it to the moon, and
Well,
then that was it. We never talked
because
about
So
it
what are your
again.
theories about how they got the? I can kind of
How they
understand
got
how
in the
Shinji.
first place?
Yeah, so I can kind of understand how Shinji brought back the original, but how did they create the second spear of Longinus?
I think so.
Okay, I wasn't sure if anybody else had
don't-
any of their ideas.
I don't know because it
don't-
just shows Rey walking down the hallway with it in her hand.
Well, and
Yeah.
like I think the story behind it is it's a relic of the initial fight between Adam and Lilith.
yeah, because it,
Yeah.
it
We
stops.
haven't
it's-
talked about that.
because it
Yeah, which is a
stops.
whole other thing.
Yeah,
because they don't explain it in the original. Like at
No,
all,
they don't.
basically.
yeah. So I read this on the wiki. I don't know if it's even true or not, but the first impact is not what killed the dinosaurs. That's what a lot of people think it is. The first impact is what created the Earth's moon.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was
'Cause that's
that was
one of their
Lilith
bodies,
hitting
right?
the Earth and creating the moon.
yeah.
Because she wasn't supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Adam was supposed to be there, but he got there late.
And Adam is what made humanity. No,
Lilith made humanity.
Lilith made
humanity.
humanity. Adam was supposed to essentially be like the opposite to it.
Adam was the egg that was in the ocean.
He was in Antarctica.
He was in Antarctica.
Yeah.
And
He was
then-
the second impact.
And then they moved it to the Pacific, right? Because the movie, there's like a fucking egg. No.
What egg are you referring to?
I know. I watched
don't-
the movie today, and I don't
Yeah,
remember
I
an
don't
egg
know what you're talking
That,
about.
well, it's
because I
like,
remember Adam being in like Gendo's hand.
then maybe it was Lilith. They're in. It's either in. I think.
Oh no,
it's
no! In the original
movie.
anime, when Kaji opens up the briefcase, and then
Yeah,
there's
that's
like
Adam.
That's
Well, yeah, that's Adam, and
That's Adam.
he puts it. He implants it in his hand.
Yep.
But there's like an egg that's like in the Pacific. It's like it must be in the movie because I think it's like during the cataclysm. It's like the fucking water and the land goes away, and there's this big sphere underneath.
Oh.
That's supposed to be an egg. It's not called the egg, but like it's symbolically you're supposed to see it as an egg. I'm
okay.
sorry.
All right.
The big thing that she.
Yes. I
Okay.
thought that
The
was
big
supposed to
red ball.
represent. Well, yes, that's supposed to represent one of the. It must be Adam, because
Well,
like he was.
They're one being.
Because the hot dog guy, the Michelin man, that they fucking marshmallow fork to the
Yeah,
cross.
Lilith.
That's Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure the other thing is Adam.
Wait,
The
wait,
little
no.
fetus.
Well, the fetus
Wait,
is
so
Adam.
the thing that they've been calling Adam, the one that had the spear in him on the cross, that's not
Lilith.
Adam?
No, that's Lilith.
How
you
the
didn't
fuck
get
did-
that?
No, I
You
completely
missed that?
missed
They
That's the
even
whole
say
point.
that. They
I must have
explicitly say
completely
that.
fucking missed that,
They-
dude.
Because
Oh
when
my God.
Kaoru goes down to see it, he's like, "That's not Adam."
I thought that was
That's
just bullshit.
Lilith.
I thought that was like an
No,
angel trick.
you
I
were
didn't know.
debated. That was the whole point. They were trying to like. They wanted you to think that was Adam because
Yeah.
it was like a masculine thing tied to the stake, but it was
Sure.
Lilith.
Fuck. Okay.
Because
Yeah.
Gendo's whole plan was to fucking fist Adam and his hand into Lilith. That was his goal to become the like mega god that would.
Understood.
Lead upon
okay.
to
All right. That makes
instrumentality.
sense now. Wow. I completely missed that. Yeah.
He like straight up says it. He's like, "That's Lilith."
Yeah, and I thought he was lying. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, there's no way.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Sorry. All right. I think I get the vibe of where we're at on the last two episodes.
Yes. Okay.
So the movie.
The movie. Shinji, why do you gotta do that, man?
Dude.
I watched that and I was like, this feels
I
unnecessary.
wrote in my notes because in the show, he starts off a little spineless, but you get it because he's a 14-year-old boy thrust into this with no choice.
Yeah.
And then he kind of grows into his own character as he makes friends and meets these people and gets to know them a little bit better. He's not as whiny. And then the movie happens, and he reverts back to it after he jizzes.
Okay, but the other thing was like, was he ever like a horn dog in the show? Like
He tried to kiss Asuka while she was sleeping.
Yeah, it's like it was definitely hinted at, and then especially with Asuka like actually kissing Shinji, you know, like I could see.
I don't know, I got the vibe where it was like kind of like they're cute and young and it's just for fun. Like I didn't like sexualize it the way that like clearly they wanted you to, since he just fucking nuts on her comatose body.
Yeah, okay, so I think that was like the jumping the shark moment of that relationship, you know. So like because like again,
what's
like
funny
you think
is
it's
that's not even the girl he gets with in the end.
What?
Yeah.
Well, in like fucking Rebirth.
Yeah, it's not even the girl he gets with.
Well, in Rebirth, that's not even a fucking character from the original series.
Yeah, it's a new character.
Okay, wait. But the thing I want to say is, before we talk about the movie, it's important to note that Anno basically said this is like, I'm not making this for the fans. I'm saying fuck the fans. Look at this goddamn movie. Because like everyone's like, oh, like I saw myself in Shinji, and like, oh, that was like the whole point. He's like, that was not the point. He was not a role model. So then, like, fucking 2 seconds in the movie, they're like, "Oh, you want to be Shinji? Oh, you want to be Shinji? Look what Shinji's gonna do."
Well, that's kind of like that's kind of like how he had a hand in creating the Japanese Animator Expo, where Me was from, but everyone interprets it as like the hot anime girl dancing.
Yeah.
That's not what it's for. That's not the message.
Right.
So again, something that he helped produce.
But the movie was supposed to be very like, slap in the face, like,
you're Shinji?
You clearly fucking misunderstood. Like, because his whole thing is like, oh, it's my like love letter to being an otaku and what that lifestyle is like. And people are like, oh, dude, that's so cool. I love being a fucking basement dweller. And he's like, no, like, this is not about being a basement dweller. It's about being something greater, like making yourself into something.
At least he realizes after he jizzes in his hand that he's like, I'm the lowest of the low.
Yeah, I was like,
I am a fucking goblin.
Dude, versus today, they'd be like, and that's how he got his superpowers.
Yeah, and that no, if that was put out today, it would be more like, "And that, kids, is how I met your mother."
Oh my god!
Yeah, no, I remember watching that scene, and I was like,
"Damn,
that's a bit much." I was like, "That feel like I get it, because like it does fit as much as I hate to say it. It fits with everything else that goes on in the show, right?
But,
like
but also, it's like out of fucking nowhere.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like there's no like it's like cold open, jizz in the hand. Like that's what the show is.
Because even in the show, he was like thinking about kissing her, sleeping next to him, but he never whacked it next to her.
Yeah. Again, I think
it wasn't even implied. That's what I'm saying. It was like, and also the other thing is, it's like Masato sleeping with Kaji. That was only in the movie. I don't think that they even hinted towards it in that TV show. Did they?
No, it happened in the show. Yeah,
it did happen. Because in my notes I said that's how he gave her the little info.
Oh,
in that little pill.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, because then because I remember I wrote in my notes here and I said, why is this the second time in 48 hours I'm seeing Masato get piped?
But it's like, okay. It's like in the show they were like of age, consenting adults.
Oh yeah,
and then like the fucking first 5 minutes of the movie, it's like,
yeah,
CP basically.
Okay. Moving on from this. I don't want to waste like 20 minutes talking about the first 5 minutes of the movie, but. All right, they're having fun downstairs. I don't know what's going on there. All right, let's see. I definitely
talking about how stupid we are.
Yeah, probably. Oh yeah. So I guess moving on. So we see the Sele raid onto Nerf headquarters.
Okay.
And I wrote, I definitely prefer this to the original ending. I mean, mostly because I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's more cut and dry. Which I guess, I mean, like you probably like the more cerebral stuff.
Yeah, it was more balls to the wall action instead of like thinking man's ending.
Yeah. I mean, I do love both, but I just think the movie, I like the fact that it has a more concrete ending, but at the same time, it's also just kind of like, I got hit with so many more emotions at the end of Evangelion than I did at the end of the original.
Even
episodes.
the ending of the original series was like somewhat positive. The ending of the movie is like ish. The ending of the movie is like, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah,
it's fucked.
So Todd, what did you think?
All right, I want to ask a question to answer your question, right? I think the original 2 episodes have a place, but I definitely would agree with it. I get more satisfaction out of the ending that the movie provides.
Yeah.
But at the same time, right, there's something to be said for like the cut and dry, just like this is it. This is the ending. You can
Yep.
make whatever you want of this, right?
And that was it for 2 years.
You watched Cowboy Bebop, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
So like the grand question is Spike Spiegel dead?
I personally think it works better if he is.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
That's true.
There's no
Yeah.
confirmation.
You don't know.
That show ended that way, and like it could have been anything. You have no idea what happened, right?
And that's been it. No one has dared whore out the series and be like, you don't have a cut.
Yeah, it's
where
Cowboy Bebop season 2.
It's just the stairs and Spike wakes up.
Oh my god, I would hate that, dude. No, I would
left you waiting, huh?
Oh. I would release unbridled
Disgusting.
nerd rage. Oh my god!
But it's like, you know,
I would argue though that the original like episode 26 that does give you a fairly concrete answer if you think about it.
but it doesn't. You have no idea.
He's inside the Instrumentality Project. Like you have to assume you may not know what the world looks like, but you have to assume humanity is wiped out.
But
Like,
in the
that's
movie,
end.
in the movie, he just wakes up. Like, what's to say that in episode 26 that a little while later he just woke up?
You just will never know.
You'll never know,
yeah,
right?
that,
You will
that is
never
true.
know.
That is
For-
true.
So it's like, I don't know. There's something to be said for it because it's like, yes, you can view it as it's a separate timeline, or you can view it as it's like these are just something else that happened while he was in the Instrumentality Project.
because even in the show, he sees a separate timeline where it's slice of life.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
There's a little slice of life sequence
Oh my god, with the fucking toast.
with
yeah,
the toast.
yeah, raised
Oh
toast.
my god. Wow. Okay. But sorry. So we see Nerve get invaded by the Americans. I mean the
The UN.
Yo, we
The
mean,
UN, right?
yeah. And
a hostile takeover by a foreign force.
I did write that Asuka's comeback had me hype because that was pretty great.
Yeah.
From her being comatose to not being able to pilot the Eva to coming back and then like fully synchronizing with it.
I think
and
it
realizing
mirrors
her
like the
mother.
beginning of the series really well too, because like your initial introduction to Rey is that she's like she got fucked up by one of the Evas and it's like on fucking
Her
bed
first
rest.
appearance is on a goddamn gurney.
Yeah, exactly.
you're
They're
right.
like trying to like fucking wheelchair her ass into the Eva suit, and Asuka's kind of like in the same boat, right? Like she's just fucking dying. No,
Asuka,
She was introduced on in
On-
the
in the
Pacific
boat mission,
on
yeah.
a boat.
no. But I mean, like in the movie, like she's comatose.
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
like,
Oh,
wake
yeah.
up, bitch! Like,
Yeah, because
the
that was
apocalypse
after.
is here.
Okay.
Because that was after she was starving herself for a week.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah,
I missed that.
Because after Shinji tells her that Kaji died, she goes to the wreckage of the town and just sits in a tub
That's
for
right.
7 days.
Wait, Kaji died?
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
The scene of him in front of like that giant fan, and he's like, "Oh, you're late." You hear a gunshot.
Oh,
We don't know who killed him, but he dies.
Yeah,
I guess I missed that part.
So because of that, because like that was like her one thing
Right,
that she was like
that was the one
like
thing holding
vying
her together.
for.
Yeah.
She sits in a tub and just like starves herself for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
yeah. And one thing that I thought was really interesting though, just about Asuka and kind of like how her and Shinji have like inverse character arcs in the movie, right? So Asuka is quite literally again like bedridden, comatose, and she pretty much has like not rags to riches, but like she has this thing where she's unconfident about piloting the Eva. She's like shit, it's not working, and then it clicks for her, right? So all of her self-realization that she's been wanting for in order to basically make herself feel good, to prove herself to herself and to the outside world, it clicks for her.
Yeah, but like ultimately she's still a failure because it's like the entire series she ties her self-worth to being able to pilot the Eva.
Yeah.
And then ultimately her actualization is still connected to the fact that she pilots the Eva.
Yeah, no.
Like she's still
completely.
like a
Yeah,
miserably fucking
it
flawed
still gets
character.
her
I think
absolutely slaughtered.
I feel like though, and at least this is my takeaway. If she did win that fight with the other like man-made angels,
Yeah.
I get the feeling that it would have been much more like she would have been a totally different character by the time she got out of that Eva.
True. I don't know. No.
I mean, I still think she would have been braggadocious,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
think
there'd still
like,
be like a front.
Yeah,
But
no, I guess you're right.
She probably
I
would.
think
She'd
she'd
have more
stable.
self worth.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
She would still brag about Shinji that she's better than him.
But like
Yeah.
her self-worth would still come from like that action of like, oh, I saved the world because like it
Yeah.
was my fucking God-given right to do so, and like that's all I'm here for. Like I don't know, she's still like her value as a character for herself, and even like within the show itself is tied to the fact that she's like a good Eva pilot.
Yeah, but even at the end though, like you don't see her really even like it's a 14-year-old girl that got her fucking eye stabbed out. Like she's paid.
Yeah.
But like
also,
you
her
don't
forearm ripped down the middle.
Yeah. But I mean, you don't see her like she doesn't appear to be regretting her decisions, right?
That's true.
Like
That's
I
true.
feel like if we were to get like okay, so like if Shinji is about to die in the Eva, hypothetically,
Yeah.
right? He would be like, oh no, like I know I shouldn't have done this. Everyone else is counting on me, but I couldn't do it, right? Asuka tries to go down swinging, right? It's like
Yeah,
I think
true.
I do think that was like a complete end for her character arc.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously she does live, right?
Yeah, he
Disgusting.
brings her
Just
back.
barely.
He brings her back. I didn't think she was gonna come back.
No, neither did I. I thought she was dead, and I wrote, Asuka, no, she feels herself being eaten. That is fucking haunting. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because like as the Ava's getting
that was-
picked apart.
Damn, dude,
that's
inflation
tough.
and Vor in one series. This is fucking insane.
Oh yeah, and then I also wrote, okay, Shinji, get off your ass in all caps. But the truth that Shinji's dad saved Rei just to use her again is unsurprising but heartbreaking at the same
Yeah.
time, right? Because I mean, throughout the entire series, like
He used everyone.
yeah. Well, I mean, but you also think that like Gendo, like the only person that Gendo has a soft spot for is
Yeah.
Rei.
Wait a minute. And there's so much more context to this, right? So, like, if they have a million Rays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Ray that we see, like, they just kept alive to suffer. Like, they could have replaced her with a body that wasn't destroyed by the Ava,
Yep.
and they didn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Damn.
and the one because by the end of it, that's the third one.
Yeah.
They just put the bandages on her to make it look like she was hurt because the second one died.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In the fight, right? Like, you see
When
her
she
die.
blew her Eva up,
Yeah.
she died in that.
Yeah.
So they brought out a third one and just put her in bandages to make it look like she was recovering, but she was fine.
Oh, my God.
Because when she got to her apartment, she took the bandages off. There was like nothing.
She was fine.
So
yeah.
maybe she was actually the fourth one. Like, maybe that's what they did with the fucking first Ray, too.
The first Ray was strangled.
Well, Yeah, first
not
Ray was
the
definitely killed.
Like, all right, so the one that you see the rest of the time, like we're meant to interpret as Ray 2.
Mm-hmm.
But, like in that first episode when they're like gurneying her around, like maybe that Ray was fine. Like maybe the Ray like died doing
maybe.
testing.
Maybe.
beforehand.
Could have been. Yeah.
Like I don't know. I guess it's something like when they show you a fucking tank of replacements. Like I guess you get some ideas that they probably replaced her a couple times. Like, and I get that the episode that's like Ray 1 and Ray 2, but
Yep.
I don't know.
I mean,
Sue.
Up for interpretation.
yeah, it's up for interpretation. This is a meme that I wrote, but as the third impact was starting, I thought that the third impact made the fucking PlayStation startup noise. Because it was like the blow, and I was like, oh my God.
It was the base.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we talk about Misato and the fucking Glock? She's got that
aimbot.
motherfucking thing on her.
Aimbot.
I do think it was kind of cool seeing Masato kick some tail.
And then she got shot.
And then she
And she
got
got shot.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, like someone was gonna die. Everybody was gonna die
So
at the end
now
of this.
we're
Like,
we're at that point. She's
Yeah.
been shot. She's leaning against the elevator door.
I don't want to. Oh, man.
So what is your interpretation? Why is that scene in the movie?
Again, if she wasn't, and again,
Because
I watched
before
the
that,
dub.
she doesn't have like.
I
any,
watched the
like-
dub though, so there's like this weird flirtatious thing that she has with Shinji. It's like for
I watched the dub too, bro. I don't.
you didn't get that. I completely
Maybe
got
in
that.
like the early episodes when I watched that sub, like I don't know. I never like I just got her as like she's a mom figure that doesn't know how to be a bomb. Like that was.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
She's like, don't worry, you can live with me and I'll love you forever and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, he ends up fucking cooking, cleaning, doing all the dishes. Like,
Doing all the
Oh,
chores.
no,
He's
she's
like a
absolutely a
fucking-
bum. She's absolutely a bum. But I mean, I don't know, I got some weird like flirtatious
I don't know.
vibes.
I never got that.
I didn't get that either.
Her
Yeah.
constantly trying to like fluster Shinji was something that just like. And then she said that, and I was like, ugh.
fluster, but, like, it was always in the context of the fucking his age girls that he hangs out with and spends time with, right? Like, it's never like, oh,
No,
like,
no, because in her conversation with Kaji, though, like she mentions that, like that's the reason why she's so gravitated towards Shinji is like what they have in common, and it's not like I
don't know.
I
still-
remember that as a motherly thing.
I still didn't get any sexual vibe though. Like I got kicked in the face by that just as much as I did in the first scene of the movie, right?
Sure.
Like I don't know. My take on it, like like cheesy '80s movies, right? Like Weird Science. It's like that weird, like almost socially acceptable, like milfy thing kind of going on, right? Like
Right.
It was just her, like
There's a lot of
generically,
media
like,
where young boy kisses adult woman.
Yeah,
right.
It's still weird though.
And
Of course.
Like, I don't think that it was ever like a sexual thing for him either. Like I feel like it was just like
it's not like-
she's gonna
Okay,
die.
no,
There's a
no,
chance
no, no,
he's
no,
gonna
no, no,
die.
Because when he was in the elevator, he's like, God, that kiss was hot.
Okay,
But he
still
wasn't.
But he
He was
wasn't.
still
You're
miserable.
right,
miserable.
He wasn't. He wasn't, but at the same time, I don't put any trust in Shinji because we watched him come on Asuka like 20 minutes earlier.
He cummed on his hand. Come on.
But like, I don't know. I get the vibe where it was like she's like, I need to do anything I can in my power to get this fucking dumbass in the Ava, and like if this is what it takes, then like fuck it, I'll try it.
He wouldn't even move his legs.
So it's like I don't know. I don't think that it was like weird or creepy. Like it was weird and creepy. Like I don't. I think it comes across very weird. But again,
I just wasn't getting the pedo vibes.
I think that part of it is because like we have been contextualized by like 30 years of anime since
which
then,
could be the point. Which could be the point, man.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there's so much media of like young guys kissing older women because like that's what the boys want.
Well, and I think that's just like
you want the MILF.
I think that was a trope that he was trying to lean into. But again, like because of their relationship and everything else, like I don't know. I just never got like that was not the way I took it.
That's fair. All right. Hey, all right. So as we get to
you're
Shinji,
the weirdo.
Could be. So as we get into Shinji getting the fucking robot.
Not yet. No, we're not there yet.
Well,
he went from moping in the car garage to moping in the hallway to moping in the elevator.
Moping in the car garage,
but
moping in the
elevator.
car.
He's sitting in the Ava robot.
Sad Genji alone is a fucking meme. Like timeless as the rest of the series is Sad Genji.
The movie was rough with Shinji.
Yeah,
he like reverted.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, at least they got to save that money on the voice actor, right? He was only there for the last like fucking 40 minutes of the film. Okay, yeah. So fucking he drags his ass to the fucking room. Yeah. He sees the Ava's like crushed. He's like, man, I didn't want to do it anyways, but now I have a good excuse.
It's like,
but then the
we'll
Ava
all
wakes up without him. So,
yeah,
but then the Ava wakes up without him though, and like that's only because of his connection to the Ava,
to his mom,
right. To his mom. Yes.
Yeah. So if he was in a better state of mind, it probably would have woke up earlier, and Asuka probably wouldn't be.
I am not denying.
Meat.
This is all his.
I forgot about that.
Okay. This is all his fault. I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not taking away any of that.
Absolutely.
If Shinji just like went to therapy, the third impact wouldn't have happened.
So, what is your take? So, obviously, you know the only fight in the movie that is like between Avas, quote unquote, is the Americanized, Armalite Ava and unit number 2.
Yep.
So did you like? I definitely got the vibe, right, that the whole like invasion, everything was supposed to be a little tongue in cheek of like, all right, hold on,
colonialism,
not colonialism. Well, yes, colonialism, but not quite. Around the time that the movie came out, there was a I don't know if it was like a murder or rape. An American serviceman fucked up somebody in the community, like a female. I don't know if it was like a sexual assault sort of thing or like a murder. So there was a ton of anti-American, especially anti-US base in Japan sentiment in the late 90s. So some people interpret, the way like the Americans fucking shit out these ghetto ass Ava that have no soul, and they're like, completely, under the not under the watchful eyes of Gendo, shit these things out, and like they're basically bringing about the end of everything.
Because in the show, because in the movie these Evas are they have like an S2 or SR2.
Yeah.
Like I think it's an S2 drive.
Like S something drive in them that
they made from like remnants of one of the angels. Yeah.
And in the show, they're doing that shit in Nevada, and it blows up.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole I don't know. Every time they talk about America, right? It's always like that fucking. They're not approving any taxes to cover all of our bills. Like they blew up everything.
All
There's
the
nothing
nations
left.
were giving us money except the U.S.
They're gonna develop it on their own. Blah blah blah. And then like the things that they've developed on their own bring about the end of humanity. Fucking movie, like it's a little tongue in cheek, right? Like again, there's vast history in Japan with the nuclear bombings and everything. Like it is quite apropos that they had to
created
pick
a nuclear powered Eva.
Yeah, dude, Nevada was wiped off the fucking face of the planet because of how stupid and bad they are at building. And then like the only other country that is like named by name is Germany.
Yes,
that's true. Yeah,
and they're the only other like peoples that were good enough to build their own fucking Ava without help. Like I don't know. That's very
shout out to Mass though, because in the
that's right, MIT.
MIT had their own magi.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah.
I think it was in the movie.
Yeah, I think
where
so.
the other magi were attacking the Japan one.
Yes.
Mass had one.
Man. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they big fight. And she like fucking gets her ass in gear. She kills all of them except
Yep.
that she didn't, and then she dies
Yes.
Which is tough.
again. One of those things where it's like, you're
Finally
like,
happy, dies.
the best part of the movie was the robot fights. Then you did not get the movie.
There was budget in those. And then you got the clip show at the end again.
They ran out of animation money, so they fucking
did,
took the Super 8 to the movie theater.
Anno went out with his fucking camcorder and recorded the crowd.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, that was bizarre. I mean, like, again, like, I think that all just goes back into, like, kind of what we saw with episode 25 and 26.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
It's. I think it was just, like, a different, like, retelling of how that happened.
But
you know?
I think that 25 and 26 lets Shinji off the hook. Like, he's like this useless, spineless sack of shit for the whole TV series.
And he's
but
like,
then
you know
he's
what?
like,
That is me.
Yeah, it is me. He's like,
I am a useless, spineless sack of shit.
He's been redeemed for it. Versus in the movie, he's like a fucking useless, spineless sack of shit, and they just like fucking dogpile him for all the horrible things he did.
Right, yeah.
And then he's in the end, he's like, fuck this shit, dude.
And they show
if I
Earth
can't
and
be
it's a
happy, no one can be
wasteland.
happy.
Which, I mean, I still think that leads into the fact that it's just, like, you're asking 2.5 14-year-olds to basically save all of humanity, right? And all of them have these very deep-seated mental issues because of your own creation.
These incredible flaws.
Yes.
Yeah, these incredible flaws that are all man-made as well, too.
Yeah.
Like, again, with Gendo probably killing Yui, and then Gendo also probably killing Asuka's mom. Like...
Anyone else who can get his fucking hands on.
basically anybody else. So it's just one of those things where I always thought it was... it's just interesting to kind of watch how Gendo was quite literally humanity's downfall. Like we could pin all of this on Shinji. It's very easy too. I know that.
Well, all right, and then there's like Anno saying something about that, right? Because Gendo's design is very much so like the trope of like the loser weeb, right?
Yeah.
He's got the
the
fucking
neck
glasses,
beard.
the neck beard. He's got the fucking like the
got the-
oversized schoolboy fit. like it's very like oh my god, what's it? It's like the Punisher, right? It's like people completely and utterly like misinterpret what the fuck that's about.
Dude, preach.
And again, like if you're just a dumbass and you're like, oh my god, this show's about fucking killer robots, you're like, dude, Gendo's so cool. Like, oh my god, dude. Like
The way
you
his glasses
completely
shine.
missed what Anna was trying to tell you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Well, basically, I mean, I guess after like a lot of the the big robot fight, that's
Yeah.
super cool. That's kind of after that the third impact happens and Shinji gets in the fucking
Well, yeah,
robot.
because they're like, Unit 1, do your shit. And he does nothing.
And then the 1990s computer generated graphics come in.
Yeah, I was not a fan of those, but I know that
so
it's just
the little
dated.
dudes walking.
Yeah.
The fucking it's not just that, like the whole like that whole scene of him like being fucking put on the cross and like taken into space is all CG.
Oh yeah.
And it's again, I'm
Back
comparing
then, it was somehow cheaper.
if the comparison is like Cowboy Bebop, right? Like you can like very clearly tell that some of the objects in space are like they were done by CG.
Sure. Yeah.
Like same thing. It's like you have this like the pinnacle of fucking like cell shaded graphics, like
Yes.
like completely done on hand, like directly onto the fucking frames, and then just beep boop beep bop. Like I don't know, like it somehow like makes it feel more modern because like that's what like shitty shows on Crunchyroll do. 30 years later.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like he was
Yeah,
a fucking
anime
innovator.
Anime CG to this day still looks bad. And that was just 97.
I know. But again, he created
Another
the
pioneer.
tropes. He
Another
pioneered it.
pioneer.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything else that you guys wanted to say about the movie? What else?
I mean,
I'm trying to think if we've skipped over anything else major.
I think it's really interesting. It's like in the TV show, the clips are like all the different people are trying to like help him kind of like reach nirvana, which is kind of like what my interpretation of it, the instrumental.
100%, yeah.
So it's like, they're like, oh, like you need to let go of your fears and like you need to stop looking at yourself as an individual and like just look at yourself as humanity. He figures that out. They say congratulations. The whole movie is basically them like dogpiling him for all these horrible fucking things. And then like this kind of like little voice like, but you don't ever have to worry about that again because we're here. And he's like, actually, no, like deep-seatedly, I am actually a sack of shit and I want to be separate and distinct from everybody else.
Because it's still like terrible because it says like you can come back if you have the will to live. So if someone, as a cross appears as a human again, the earth is still like red crust.
Yeah.
It's still ruined.
But I still get the vibe. So it's like, I don't know. I didn't look at it so negatively, right? Because it's like, my understanding was they basically tell him, like, if there's anybody left, then, like, humanity's not gone. So, like, if you watch the series, whole swaths of the planet have been fucking destroyed from, like, angel fights and everything else.
Yeah.
And then the next
all the
day,
craters just become new lakes.
yeah, and everything's fucking fixed and humanity continues. So it's like, there's nothing telling you that they can't come back from this, right?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean,
They said as long as the sun and the moon and the earth is there,
Yeah.
everything's fine.
Absolutely.
Well, and the other thing is... sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it does kind of end again with all these allegories with like Adam and Lilith and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of ends with another like Adam and Eve situation. Like there's two people left. One of them.
So the other
And
component
one
of
of them
that,
just hates the guy.
Yeah, no, they fucking hate each other.
I
but,
got
like,
the vibe that like everyone would come back in time. Like I don't think that they were alone, because the story that one of them's telling you is like, as long as there's somebody, then no one can continue like this, right? Like the idea would be that everyone would slowly come back as they figured out their own shit.
Another thing too that I want to mention is that in the movie they definitely drive home that Asuka hates Shinji.
Oh yeah.
In the show, I didn't really get that vibe. There was like a rivalry, but I don't think
Yeah.
she hated his
Yeah,
guts
I
to
think
the
she was-
point.
But
Yeah.
even in
Of
the
the
movie,
movie.
like she only hates him like in the Tang, where she's like, dude, I watched you try to like molest me
So-
in my
so
sleep.
do you
I
think-
watched you coom
Yeah, so
over
do you
my
think
fucking
that's
comatose
his
body.
interpretation of her?
Yes,
Probably,
But
yeah.
that's what the whole movie's about.
Yes.
Right? It's like all these people, you've just watched 26 episodes of this like genius like lay out all these characters and about how they're distinct and they're like individual. What's that fucking test where it's like two women have to talk about
Oh,
something
the
that
Bechdel
is
test.
Yes,
Yes.
this is a fucking anime from like the 95 that passes the fucking Bechdel test. And
That's
like
kind of base.
and basically they're like, you looked at us as fucking meatbags with boobs for all this time. Like you're a horrible human being. Like I don't think that they hate him for like any like core character trait. It's just like the movie shows him as like a fucking pervert who's like irredeemable. Like of course the story is supposed to be like he's a useless sack of shit, right? Like I don't know. Like in the TV show he's never depicted as that. So there's like no reason for them to hate him. Versus in the movie when he's in the tank, all he can think about is Rey naked and Masato naked, which is like I never got that vibe during the TV show or the movie.
Well, and again, I think the reason being is because of like Shinji's like imposter syndrome and like how he thinks everyone else views him, right? Because realistically, throughout the entire show, I mean, besides his father, pretty much everybody else is on his side.
True,
right?
true.
Like Asuka will give him shit, right? Because that's part of Asuka's character, right?
Yeah.
But
So
like
Shinji's
Misato,
goob.
But like
Mitsuko,
that's the whole reveal of the movie, right?
Yeah,
It's just like in the TV show, he's basically this like voiceless character, and anytime he's like fucking deep in thought, you're listening to him like listen to his fucking cassette
Everyone
tapes.
hates me.
But then the movie's basically revealing, well, deep down, these were what he was actually fucking thinking about, and for those reasons, he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know, like. I think the movie is way darker than you think, because it's basically saying like he's irredeemable and that's why humanity can't go to the fucking Instrumentality Project. Like he caused it and then was also the reason it failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
The
I
epiphany.
agree. That's it.
I don't know.
That's a good breakdown.
Pretty fucking dark.
It's dark, but I think it works. All right. Well, anything else you guys want to say before we go to pick of the week? Huh?
No, I think.
I have one thing.
Oh, okay.
I have one thing.
All
So, Evangelion, like I said, it's like very grounded. Like I think that it does a very good job of like pulling the sci-fi tropes in while still keeping them like within the realm of possibility until you like begin to realize what the fuck's going on. It's like they're not robots or anything else like that. I think that there's not a lot of media out there that like so perfectly blends like sci-fi and fantasy. And the whole time I was watching it, like especially like the way that they like slowly trickle feed you like the lore and everything, it is just like the game Eastward. Have you played it yet?
It's on my wish list.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I followed it before it was like officially out.
So it's just like the story is like very much so like if you just read it at its like absolute surface level, it's like this post-apocalyptic like very sci-fi story. But then like you start to like learn things and see things like very slowly like told you through the like the gameplay and like the storytelling where you're like, I don't know, there's like some sort of fantasy like magical shit going on in the background. And like Evangelion like perfectly encapsulates that same exact feeling that Eastward had. The other thing is I don't think that the show would be so poignant if it came out today. Like, part of the reason it's so damn good is the storytelling, the artwork, and everything else. It could have come out yesterday, and you would have not batted an eye. But the fact that it came out in 1995 when there was nothing like even remotely close to this, let alone original anime that didn't have some sort of source material.
Well, especially like even in the Americas too, right? Like Toonami really wasn't even a thing when this first started yet.
Right. I don't think it came to the U.S. in like totality until like the mid 2000s.
Right.
Because even Toonami only showed the fucking like Gundam episodes.
Yeah, it would be
Hey,
like Gundam.
Gundam is still great. Let's not.
It had Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
But like I was looking at that to
Naruto.
like see when it came to the U.S. and Toonami only had enough money for them to either subtitle or dub like the episodes that were just like robots fighting, because it was brought to the U.S. for Giant Mecha Robot Week on Toonami in like 2005 2006.
Yeah.
And like they like heavily edit it because there's some heavy shit and like the sub and dub whatever has nothing to do with the actual. They basically Power Rangered it.
Oh,
It's like that. That's why it's so interesting, because like the first time you could really see it in the West, like as it was intended to be watched, was like when Netflix brought it like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Damn.
So like I don't know, it's even more interesting because like if you're like an anime sweaty and you watched this a couple years ago, then like you were like deep into that shit,
Yeah, because before it was even like Netflix like kind of brought it back. Like a Blu-ray of Evangelion was like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, hundreds of dollars. Yeah.
But now you can get it for, like average price, like $60-$50.
Yeah.
But
They
before that, it
brought
was
it to the
super
West.
rare.
Other than that, it was like fucking oh my god. I think his name's Ness in fucking Super Smash Bros.
What? Oh, for Earthbound, you mean?
Yeah, so Earthbound.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like
Yes.
It's like Mother 3.
yeah, so
Mother
like
3, thank
the
you.
the
Yeah.
the Evangelion like figurines and like the color waves and everything is like very popular in like weeb culture. Like you can't go on Amazon without seeing someone trying to sell you like Eva keycaps, or like I'm pretty sure
Literally what Jared plans to do.
one of the Ray figurines is like one of the highest like grossing figurines like
Ever
history,
made.
right?
Yeah.
But like that show didn't really officially come to the US until 2 years ago. So it's kind of like Ness being on Smash Bros when there was no fucking Earthbound in the US.
Yes.
Yes, also like Fire Emblem. Marth and Roy were in Smash Bros before those games were even in the US.
Dude, and now there's way too many of those fuckers in the game.
Yeah. Blame the motherfuckers that bought Awakening. If Awakening sold bad, the series would be dead.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I
happy
bought
for
Awakening,
Fire
sorry.
Emblem. Anyway,
Don't blame me. Blame everyone else.
I am blaming you. But yeah, no, I think it's just it's an important anime. That's
for
all it is
sure.
really. It's just not only is it one of the most influential ever created, but it tells a fantastic story.
the 90s
Yeah.
was an important time
Yeah,
for anime.
for sure.
Well, and one of the things that I mentioned earlier is it doesn't really focus on plot, or it does do world building, but
Yeah.
I mean all of that takes a backseat to just the character development.
Yeah, no,
Right.
yeah.
In which I mean I think that's kind of what sets it apart overall from everything else.
I just like it, and the reason I really wanted to watch this is it kind of set the stage for like the other more mature shows that came out afterwards, right? Like without Evangelion, like you don't have shows like Cowboy Bebop or Samurai Champloo or like Ghost in the Shell or Black Lagoon. Like those more like adult centric. Like it's one of those things where it's like really weird where nowadays if I went and I watched like an anime where like the main character was like a high school boy, it like would feel kind of gross.
Yes.
But somehow Evangelion was like not like that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Hey, want to do pick of the week?
Sure.
All right.
Sure, man.
All right. Tyler, you want to start us off with your pick of the week? You got a fun one.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. So, the RTX 4090 came out a couple weeks ago, and, day one, I was there fucking clicking the refresh page, and I refreshed, so it went from unavailable to sold out in the fucking 16 microseconds. It took all the Yeezy bots to buy up all the fucking stock. So, I tried getting one on StockX, and, obviously the scalpers are there, and they're like, whatever. But StockX allows you to put a bid in. So not only are there people like saying like this is what you can buy it for outright, but you could also put a bid in, and like if someone wants money like right now, they could sell it for your bid. Mm-hmm. So I put a relatively low bid for what they were selling for at the time, and some scalper was probably like fucking desperate for cash. He's like, I gotta unload this thing fast.
I need my Cody now.
Yeah. So fucking, it went through. Like for a very long time, up until recently when like more stock came out, it was the cheapest 4090 that was sold on StockX. Like I still got fucking railed, but you know.
I know, because you put the price that you paid for it on Discord, and even then people were like, what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it was the same amount that I paid for the 3090, which was technically a lower MSRP than what the 4990. So whatever, I buy it. And then, you know, StockX, the way it works is the seller sends it to StockX. StockX like authenticates it. So, you know, you're not getting scammed. Like no one wants fake
The
Yeezys.
middleman.
And then it gets sent to you. So as soon as the order goes through, I get the things like, oh, we're waiting for the seller to send it to us. And it's there like, don't fucking complain to us or do a chargeback until it's been a little while. Cause like we give people 2 to 3 days to ship it out. And it's business days. So like I think I won on a Friday. So like hypothetically, I wouldn't hear from anyone until like Wednesday the next week.
Okay.
So I'm like, whatever. And I keep checking like intermittently, but I'm like, well, it'll come when it comes. Like I've bought other things from StockX. I've never had a problem before. So it's like Sunday night last week. So, you know, over a week since I'd bought the card. And I'm like, fuck, dude, like where the hell? Like I haven't got any updates. I go to StockX and they're like, there's been a problem with your order. I'm like, oh my fucking, like, this is like a massive purchase, right? Like if I have to go to the bank or like I have to go through PayPal to get my money back, like this is going to be a monstrous pain in the ass. So StockX is like, the original seller didn't actually have a 4090 to send to us.
Bruh.
So on StockX, whenever that happens, like if you try to sell something that you don't physically have in hand or you can't reasonably get in like a normal amount of time, you get banned. Your account gets deleted.
Yeah.
So, but the way it works is StockX will just eat the difference. So whatever the lowest selling 4090 is, they're just going to send it to you and StockX will pay the new seller whatever it's worth. So someone got fucked. Well, StockX got fucked, right? Because I think at the time, like the lowest one was like almost $400 more than what I was paying.
You paid for it, yeah.
So ultimately, who's the real fucking scalper?
In the end, you won.
So again, though, I'm like, okay, well, so they're gonna send it to StockX, and then StockX is gonna send it to me. So like, fucking the clock resets. So it's now like I sit and I wait, and it's been like 8 days since StockX told me that they've got a new seller. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like this is fucking insane. I'm like, it's like, it was my first night off, I think. I don't know, whatever. So the next morning, I log on with every intention of be like, I'm just gonna fucking charge back. Like this is ridiculous. StockX has it, and they're sending it to me. I'm like, oh, okay, great. This is, and then like they overnighted it. Like it was the next morning, I cracked that bitch open. It's like,
let's go.
Well, in the time that it took for StockX to send it to me, there's been an explosion online of people being like,
literally,
well, 4090s are using so much power that they're burning the fucking cables that NVIDIA packaged with them. So I'm like, oh, you know, initially it was all just like third parties. So I'm like, I don't know, like they draw more power usually because they get overclocked or whatever. So I'm like, it's fine. It's not going to be a problem for me. And then, you know, the Redditors come out and they're like, oh, actually, I have a Founders Edition and like there was actual fucking flames in my computer case. And like there's another guy. I don't understand. So it's like, obviously it's an expensive piece of hardware. Like I would not do anything to fucking risk it, right? Yep. But there's someone who's like, oh yeah, dude, what I do is I just unplug it every day to check to see if the cable's burnt. Mind you, NVIDIA already told you that there's a problem with the cable. They're not like very well built. Like they're only rated for 30 insertions and removals. So this dumbass is fucking removing it and reinserting it every day. And
oh boy,
he already, like there's a chunk of it that's already burnt, but he's still using it. Like this is like at minimum, right? Let's say you were real fucking lucky and you got an MSRP. This is like $1,600 where the guy is just like, it's already fucking crispy. And he's like, this is fine. I'll just keep checking it to make sure it doesn't get worse. So, you know, whatever. Cable Mod is making their own cables, like 16 pin cables to replace the ones that NVIDIA are doing. And people who are using third-party cables are not having an issue. It's explicitly the ones that NVIDIA like gave with their cards and gave third parties.
Is that going to be like a class action?
110%. Oh, I cannot wait to get my fucking 15 cents out of NVIDIA. So, you know, I ordered through them and it's a new product for them. So it's not coming for like weeks. And it was really fucking expensive.
Yeah, cable mod is pricey, dude. That's yeah.
But at the same time, right? It's like buying insurance for my car, right?
Yeah.
Like
Your computer won't blow up now.
Yeah, I don't want a 30-cent cable to fucking
yeah,
destroy
yeah.
my.
No, I'm not telling you to do.
No,
like,
no, I know,
yeah.
but I'm just saying it blows because like it's so exciting. You know, I got a 490. Like you know,
Yep,
COD just came out. I was gonna like get
and you're like
2 extra frames, and I just fucking it's sitting on my fucking bookshelf.
That sucks.
So yeah, what have you been up to?
Yeah, Jared.
So I mean, besides being engaged, like I mentioned earlier, I just got a new keyboard.
Let's go.
So, yeah, so I made sure to get
Wait,
the
hold
funk.
it. Can you pull it? I was gonna say, can you pull this shit over here? We can get a little keyboardismer.
Maybe. Give me 1 sec. I'll unplug it.
He unplugs here. Oh.
So this bitch is weighty. It's what? I think it's a 4-pound keyboard.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's in
Probably
kilograms.
Yeah,
I
it's
only
enough to
know
like
freedom
smush
units.
an infant's head.
So yeah, here we go. This is the space bar. And then we got some other key testing.
What kind of switches did you pick?
It's the Kale Purple.
Is that an A key I hear?
Oh, like the Pro Purples?
Yeah.
Oh, I love those.
Oh, is
my
that a
God.
W?
One of these.
It's very crispy sounding. I love this thing. And not to, like the RGB is perfect. I got some Taiho keycaps, so it's like this like blue green color.
Do you like the fucking like the wings on the side?
Oh, they're so nice.
Like the fucking undercarriage?
Oh, I love it so much, dude.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah, I mean this cost me a pretty penny, but this is like a perfect keyboard.
It's a
dude.
weapon.
It's great. Yeah, I was telling Josh earlier, I could pretty much like bludgeon someone with this if
Yeah,
need
yeah.
arises. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's great. Josh, while I plug this in, you want to tell us what your pick of the week is?
So Nicole and I have been watching the Planet of the Apes movies. The new ones. So the ones with like James Franco. And then the last two were directed by Matt Reeves.
Yes.
You might know from the director of The Batman.
So
Movie of the year.
are you watching them because you like love to hate them, or
No, they're
are you-
good movies.
are
They're
they good
generally good movies.
Oh,
Yeah, there.
Like Caesar the monkey, the ape,
I'm
is
clearly
like a
thinking of something
genuinely
different.
good character.
And it's Andy Serkis voices him,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
He mocaps him and voices him. They were in like mocap suits with like crutches to simulate ape movement. So if you ever watch like the behind the scenes, they're like all dudes on stilts.
shit. I think they did the same thing for Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like yeah, because they were like tall.
Tall, yeah. They
So they
like
had
put
to
them
be
on
dudes
fucking
on stilts.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna go watch that in December?
Avatar?
Avatar, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, sure.
I like the first one, and like James Cameron is generally like a
I
pretty
honestly,
good filmmaker.
I don't
you
know
so-
what was so hype about the first one. Maybe it was because 3D. It came out at the time of 3D.
Have you ever
it
gone
looked
back
nice.
and like rewatched it?
Yes.
It does not hold up.
I mean,
No,
I
it
think-
doesn't.
No, I mean the story doesn't, but I think the CG still looks fun.
The CG still holds
It's
up.
still
The
like
story
pretty good.
definitely does
like
not.
it's like it holds up, but like at the same time, like it's also not like the pinnacle of CG that it like once was held as.
No.
No,
Back then
yeah,
for
that's
sure. Back then for
Back
sure.
then for
Yes.
sure, yeah.
It
But now
still
you
holds
look
up.
at it and you're like, God damn, dude, the water in Half-Life is better than the fucking one in Avatar.
But that being said, I do think at least from that trailer from what is it, The Way of Water? I think
Yeah.
is what
Yeah,
they're
it
calling
looks good.
Looks good.
It looks pretty great. You gotta say.
It looks good. It only took like a decade after the first movie.
Yeah,
Well, he had to wait for MW2 to come out.
Oh yeah.
And the global
True.
recession,
True,
you know, the whole-
Mhm,
Yeah.
yep.
He's playing 4D chess when we're just playing checkers, man.
Dude, literally.
Yeah.
How much you want to bet he was the one who sunk the Titanic in the first place?
I
He's
bet.
like, holy shit, this is going to be such a good movie.
Holy shit.
Alrighty. Well, guys, I think that does it for our Evangelion episode.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Josh, thank you for joining us, buddy.
Make sure you
No
put in
worries,
the comments
man.
what the next anime is that you all want us to watch.
Yeah, I want to see 10,000 likes on this video.
I think if Jared's never watched Lucky Star, that would be a good like
Yeah.
rewatch and
That'd be cool.
I'm
discussion.
gonna bring Nicole for that.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
her
Oh, yeah.
favorite.
So- Yeah.
Sorry, let me do my YouTube outro real quick, okay?
Oh, sorry.
All right, guys, remember to impact that like button. Remember to join the BS Crew Instrumentality Project by hitting that subscribe and the bell icon.
Can I get a Shinji sucks in the comments?
How much of a song can you play before it gets copyright claimed?
Probably
You
like
wanna
2
find out?
nanoseconds.
Can we play 2 nanoseconds of the next episode theme from Evangelion?
Yes.
Yes,
So we'll play the 2 seconds, and then we'll be like, in 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about Cyberpunk.
absolutely.
Okay.